audio checks. Skylar, say something for me.
Please stop.
Skylar, you there?
Yeah.
Alright, say
Can you
something
hear
for me.
Can you hear me now?
Alright, yeah, I can hear you. Tyler, can you say something for me?
Yeah, I'm right here. What's up?
At the last minute, looks like I need to cut you guys up just slightly. Alrighty. So, that's the wrong capture log. There we go. I decided to do a little test stream today. Decided to cut on and watch a video with my two favorite brothers. I got my youngest brother, Big T or Big Texas.
Yeah.
Say something for me.
Hey, what's up? It's me.
And I got my middle youngest brother, Kuroda guy. Can you say something for me as well?
What's up?
There we go. Got the voices. I'm thinking I'll cut you guys up just a little bit more. Audio up there. Audio level good. And so we're just gonna commentate over this video here. I already cut the first part of this video off. I'll put the, if you guys are interested in this video, it is a YouTube creator. Oh my goodness. I did all this stuff and I didn't get his name. He does a show called Build the Roster, and he builds fictional fighting games. Or games that's soon to come out. Sorry about the quality dip here. Erkin Arcade. I'll have his video in the description if you want to watch the full thing without us stopping and saying, every 5 seconds and talking about stuff. Put it shortly, this is a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 fictional game.
Ooh, I think the Capcom Vs
SNK, yeah, my bad. Ugh. Thinking about too many things in one thing, it's hard to talk in one fluid thing. Capcom vs. SNK 3, and he's doing fictional teams for each side. I think it's 8 on each side. 8 3-person teams, 8 for Capcom and 8 for SNK.
Word.
Any particular character y'all think is not gonna be in here, but like a pull, like a character you don't think is that you would want to see in this game that hasn't been in a fighting game or hasn't been in much. Tyler, Big Texas. How about you?
Well, I mean, like, there's a lot. There's like a lot of when Capcom does like crossovers with other fighting games, like other fighting game companies, they usually kind of stick pretty hard to Street Fighter. When
I'm pretty sure they're gonna stick pretty hard to Street Fighter in this one too.
Well, yeah, it's just like, but like even in Capcom vs SNK 2, you had like a weird pull. Like you had your boy from rival schools. You had Morgan in SNK versus Capcom.
I think
SVC
they only had
Chaos.
Morgan in SNK versus Capcom. So she was the only non-Street Fighter in that one.
Yeah, but like in SVC Chaos, you had Zero. Remember, you could play as Zero from the Mega Man ZX series.
Yeah.
Specifically, not regular Zero. So I mean, something like just weird stuff like that. But also like for the SNK side, like there's characters in
All right, so
the mobile games that could show up too.
So make it clearly, Capcom side, who do you want to see? Who do you want to see?
To make it clear, I want to see somebody not from Street Fighter. I guess. And for SNK, a side King of Fighters game, like King of Fighters EX characters or not maximum impact character.
Okay. So you just brought open. You just want to see some non-Street Fighter and non-basic King of Fighters.
Yeah, I like deep cuts, I guess.
Okay. Kuroda guy, how about you?
Well,
Anything any particular
So
character?
like it says like Capcom versus SNK, but really it feels like yeah, really Street Fighter versus King of Fighters, and I feel like that's what they're trying to get at anyway.
Yeah.
Sure, they have like their cameo characters, but for the most part, it makes sense that it would be Street Fighter versus King of Fighters, and they definitely have enough characters within just those two things to make a large roster. It's a little lopsided though. It's a little lopsided. SNK definitely has more characters to pull from King of Fighters than Capcom does from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But they still do that. Like, if you were to pull anybody that's not in there and like keep it somewhat thematic to Street Fighter, you basically be pulling exclusively from Alpha, like exclusively from Alpha.
Yeah.
That's it. Or like maybe a couple Third Strike, but they don't really. They'd have to change the art style and stuff like to bring people like with that. Like either take him out of Third
assuming this is
Strike.
going to have its own art style. Like this is going to be like a whole new game from the ground up. It's not taking sprites from something.
Well, like they definitely have to uniform them. Like they just can't.
Yeah.
A lot of times they took like sprites.
I think it's going to be like how
inspired.
SNK versus Capcom did, where they just made everybody in the SNK style. I think this is what the guy in the video was going for. Like he put through art direction, pulling. Oh, this guy has a newer sprite, and this looks nice over to this one. It's just he throws that out the windows. And mechanics wise, I don't think he goes into mechanics other than this thing will have a groove system, just like the other one.
We may as well just assume all assets will be unique for this new made-up game.
Well, like anyway. What I was saying was,
Capcom.
They'd only be able to pull from like Alpha and Third Strike if they're like pulling like any sort of legacy characters that we haven't really seen show up in a game.
But you're not hindered to those, so.
No, you're not. But like, I mean, if they want to pull faces that've been like, oh man, finally he's back, right? It's gonna be from those games.
Yeah.
All right, word.
So
true.
Capcom, anybody particular you want to see?
Not really. I just think like maybe a character that people like, even though like it's not really that good or prevalent or like whatever. Like, and it's a face that people would recognize. Like just something iconic. Like I don't know, like Q. Even though like
somebody like Q.
No, people don't really care. It's not like a hugely impactful character. It doesn't really have anything to do with the story. But like. People just get hyped looking at that character.
We're gonna add G to this monster.
I mean, you could do either or. You're probably only gonna have to.
I mean, both. They're probably gonna be teams. So,
I was just particular as a character in particular in part of the teams. This is not.
I would say like someone like Q
like
from
for me,
Capcom would be cool.
I want Makoto. Yeah. I want Makoto. Like I want Makoto in this game. In a new form of some way.
There are like some characters that like come from things that like I don't know. It's just like having one of mechanics would be like a bit much in a versus game that spans like for example, if they brought like C Viper over, I don't know how well she would do. Like she honestly feels like more of like a Marvel versus Capcom character than like something like this. But yeah, even though I'd like to see her, she doesn't exactly fit. From the SNK side, I mean, again, they have
these
like
are out there picks. You don't have to fit. This is just this is personal. Who are you feeling?
Well, I mean, personally, I would like to see C Viper in more games, but
there you go.
But like,
about SNK side? Weird. Anybody there?
Again, like they just have a lot of crazy characters that I don't want to see. Like that I don't want to see. Like they had that dude that just stares at you that was in King of Fighters 14. I don't even remember.
The
it started with an X or something.
Yeah, one of the villains, Xanadu, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was Xanadu. Like I would. if that character never showed up in another game, it'd be too soon. But
true. I like him, but he's crazy. He's purposefully crazy. He might be too crazy for a crossover.
He's different, but yeah, like.
So nobody in particular for SNK that you just gotta have.
Gotta have. Shoot, it'd be like
I mean, a personal pick. This is personal.
It's like, I always like Angel, but again, it's like Sea Viper. It's just like doesn't really fit. Like this character is just playing by different rules.
Yeah, this is mechanics out the window. This is just personal. I want to play as Angel again in a different game.
Well, yeah, then it'd be that character and Vanessa. And Vanessa would fit more in like actual games.
That's what
side note: they put only one Kyo in games, and I never get the version that I want. It's
you want multiple
Kyos? There's 18,000 Kyos, and I never get the version I want.
What is your version of Kyo?
You know, like King of Fighters 13, the base Kyo. That's the Kyo I like. I like that. I like that movement. He doesn't have the jump down. Like I do not like Nest Kyo. I don't like the Fire Wreckers one. I like the one where he has the fireball.
Really? You're not you don't like the Fire Wreckers?
Yeah, I think Nest Kyo is cooler, but I think regular Kyo is more fun to play. Like if you were just watching the game, Nest Kyo just is cooler.
Quickly, for anybody who doesn't know Kyo, what's Nest Kyo one more time for me? What makes
Nest Kyo? Nest Kyo is the one that's iconically pictured with the white jacket instead of the black jacket, and he has the cross skirt under it.
That's the one. Okay.
So in that one he uses Fire Wreckers instead, and he has like the super sick finisher move where
it seems like you would be a K-Dash man. I don't know why I think you're a K-Dash person.
Like I think K-Dash is cool, but like I just play Kyo instead. Yeah.
All right, Tyler, go. Big Texas, go right back at you real quick since I didn't specify earlier. Is there any personal?
If I was to say like a personal pick
from Capcom,
from Capcom, like I like those boring characters. I like the characters that do a big kick and can roll at you. So like, legitimately, Sean or Abel.
Yep.
I like those characters. I don't know why my brain specifically likes a weird kick and a roll, but those guys got a weird kick and a roll.
First gen Sean, you want first gen Sean?
Well, yeah. If you're gonna be like he's gonna play specifically like something and not just be like a new thing, please like look at Second Impact a little bit more than you look at Third Strike, please. But he does have some new moves in Third Strike, but like
Third Strike has literally just made him like Shota's, but worse.
He's purely worse. If I was to look at SNK and say a specific character I want from SNK, well, everyone knows I like Blue Mary. I'm a big fan of that character, and yeah, like just something like Blue Mary and Sylvie Paula. Sure, put that character in more games.
All right, Sylvie.
Crazy character. She has a crazy design, and I would love to see. Because like her only game she's in, well technically 2 games she's in, are very shaky on the 3D aspect. So to see her in a game where now she's existed and her design could be looked at from a new angle, just a crazy character like that would be fun.
Gotcha.
On a side note, those 2 characters from each side that I put in, when games start dying, you'll notice the hardest characters in the game become automatically way more popular.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's about right.
And putting at least one crazy character like that increases like the survivability of a game. Like when Tekken 7 it starts waning in population, people just start playing League. Not because he's good, but because he's hard.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. The goal for my picks, again, from Capcom, I already said, I want Makoto. I love Makoto. And I want her in more games. And I want Makoto. That's it for Capcom. SNK, I have a weird choice. And here's the thing. It's a personal choice, and I don't even know these characters' names. You could probably help me out, but I think from Mark of the Wolves, I want Kim's students. I can't remember his name.
Oh, well, one of them is Dong Hwan.
I think it's Dong Hwan.
That's the electric one.
Yes, there we go. That's the boy.
I only know because I mained the guy.
And weirdly, another Kim student I want is from the King of
Mei
Fighters
Lee?
3D game. She's a female character. She's the person.
Oh
I
yeah,
played.
yeah.
I cannot remember her name, but
Is
she's
it
the
her
person.
daughter? Is it his daughter?
I think it's his
Mei
daughter.
Lee?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure if I remember if they were.
I just remember playing her, and I was like, she's a Kim character, and then she was just so wacky. I loved how wacky she was.
Her name is Che Lim, I believe.
Yeah, and I was like, you'll never see her again. You'll never see this character again, and I had so much fun playing as her in that game. But again, I had nobody to play that game with. I was playing it by myself.
Speaking of Mei Lee, she probably deserves another shot. That character is really different.
That's a really cool character, yeah.
She was
But
so wacky.
I don't know. I don't know what you could do with that character. So.
She had so many weird juggle combos. It was very unique. All right.
He has a back turn stance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to keep moving on here to not have a static screen for too long. But one quick things: you guys played Capcom Vs SNK 2. I know this, but you guys played Capcom Vs SNK 2 in a weird way. I think your first taste of this game, you guys played it on the GameCube version.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that was the first time we played it, but I know it's definitely. Yeah, no, actually, I think for me at least, I think Skylar might have played the PS2 port or the.
I definitely had the PS3 version, but
we played it with our cousin first. We played it with our cousin first on the PS2.
But the copy we owned was the GameCube version.
Yeah, that was Capcom vs SNK 2 EO. That was the GameCube port.
Very unique version of the game, where the buttons were, of course, in weird ways because of the GameCube controller, and the C stick did supers and special moves. That was his unique thing with that game. You can map the super to the C stick directions.
Yeah.
So you can play Geese and do Raging Storm by flicking down.
Yeah, it was a little bit like Nintendo's known for having like kind of busted versions of a lot of people's fighting games, whether it's Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter 3D Edition. Nintendo gets a lot of weird busted versions of fighting games because their systems are typically not made for fighting games.
I just thought, I thought that was your very first, and I thought, hey, do you remember playing it like that?
I do. I definitely did cheat a little bit when I played Rock. That was definitely I was cheating with that character.
Just a little bit. I think like the C stick was like special moves or something like that.
Yeah, it was special moves and supers. Like you can flick down to do the super and do their hard super or whatever. And I think up was their other one.
Yeah, but we didn't use it that much, and also I'm pretty sure in the end, me and him ended up playing mostly on the PS2.
Really quickly to clarify, just so like there's no confusion. When I said Mei Lee has a back turn stance, I mean like she puts her other foot forward, so that like her back is mostly like her back side of her body is mostly what's facing the camera, which is very uncommon.
Yeah, it's like a horang.
But she doesn't actually turn her whole back to her opponent. I mean, I'm talking about the camera, not the.
I got you. You're doing the horang switch stance.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Left foot, right
for
foot
her,
forward
it was the
had
hero
different
stance.
moves.
Yeah.
I knew what you were talking about because I played her, and I
know.
understood she had different moves from left and like which foot was facing forward.
Yeah, if you look at their moveset, it's literally referred to as hero mode when she stands back like that. It's a very fun character. Like, there's a lot of really, really popular and very fun Taekwondo fighters, which is hilarious because there's 1,000 of them, and Street Fighter has one. There's one Street Fighter Taekwondo character.
That game had a lot of weird people that you'll never see again. I think I might actually try for this stream and for myself to emulate that game and then get some people to play it with me, because it has a Metal Slug. It has a Metal Slug character in that game. It has
in Maximum Impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have what's her name? Theo.
Yeah.
Theo's playable.
And the only SNK versus type game to have a Metal Slug character.
You could play as Marco in what is that? What's the name of that one? SNK Battle Coliseum.
Oh yeah, okay, forgot about that. Yes, you can. Alright, well, we jawed on for a little bit. Let's go and get this video going. Again, what I'm gonna do is, we're gonna let this man talk, do his stuff. Every time when he shows a video, shows off a team, I'm gonna stop it and we're gonna have a little chat. By the way, you can talk any point, and this doesn't mean you need to be silent during the video. Go right ahead and chat if you want to say something or see something, and if I see something, I'm probably gonna pause it, go back and do stuff, alright? So I'm gonna hit it going. Let me know if you guys drop quality or you can't see anything so I can adjust, alright?
Gotcha.
Let's roll.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you not your 48 characters, but instead your 16 teams.
Ooh, of course, very first. Thank you, YouTube, but here you go.
This is the path of my destiny. Let's turn up the heat.
Team World Warriors.
Very first team. Of course, this has to be seen. Of course.
Yeah.
Ken, Ryu, Chun-Li. But specifically, we're getting these three on the same team right off the bat. Like, Chun-Li in there. That's what's got me right there.
It's like having a. Cause that was the thing. That was the thing about.
I think it's going for a mascot team rather than like. It's just going for a mascot team. Like, it's fine. It's just like okay.
It's the same way. Like if you look at Street Fighter Cross Tekken's cover, it's not actually the real teams. It's like it's kind of like a mashup together. Oh, you want to see these guys, right?
They might vaguely actually work together, but like Chun-Li doesn't really fit. But I mean, if you're going for a mascot team, this is 100% what you do.
Yeah,
I think this is a team put together with the same ethos as like Team Fatal Fury.
Switch out Chun-Li for like Guile or anything like that.
I actually wouldn't. I think this team is fine if you're thinking through it the same way, like SNK does when they make like Team Fatal Fury or Art of Fighting, stuff like that.
So, yeah, I agree. I think this is the very first. If you're gonna post your team for Capcom side, this is the team. This is what you would choose.
If I was doing it personally, if I was gonna make a team with Ryu and Ken, I'd put Sakura on it because then you could have this team fight Team Art of Fighting.
Yeah, we're just talking sections. Don't worry about what's coming next, or if Sakura.
Oh yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, we're
just
talking
that's just what I would do.
Hyperbolic right here.
Well, like it's hard to look at this team in a vacuum because it feels like okay, then this is a direction that they're going to do with the other side. Because this team would be weird.
Yeah,
it's hard to look at this team would be weird if on the other side they just do like some canon like stuff, or like they do like an actual canon, like they do like Kyo, Iori, and then like Chizuru. Which would make sense, but it's not the poster like female fighter, right?
He lead it off with this team on purpose, so
yeah. Like this team would only be weird if they don't do it on the other side.
Yes, if they don't do Sacred Treasures or something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, name is perfectly good. Team World Warriors, no better name than that.
This team isn't Team Japan. This team isn't Team America. It's not. It's not Team Shotokan.
Team America.
It's not Team. There's no other moniker. World Warriors fits. These are Street Fighter. This is Street Fighter 2. We're looking at them.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna start moving on. Anything else? And if not, I'm gonna just move on. He's gonna explain why he has these characters, and then he's gonna move on to the next team. Again, if you want to say anything, don't be silent. If you don't want
I need to create a team that would essentially be Team Street Fighter. That team that when you think of Capcom's biggest fighting game franchise, you think of them. And for me, that came down to Ken, Ryu, and Chun-Li. These three have been in the most installments in the franchise. They're three of the biggest fighting game figures in the world, and they even have a canonical friendship among themselves within the game. Putting them together just seems obvious, right? Well, it wasn't as easy as you might think. Chun-Li almost didn't make it on here simply because as I divide up the Capcom roster, she wound up being a perfect fit for more combinations of teams than any other character. Heck, up until the last second, I actually had her on Team Interpol with Cammy and Guile, and Ryu and Kin were going to be joined by their master Gouken. I mean, Chun-Li has canonically been teammates with Guile and Cammy for years, and it felt like it might be good to see Kin and Ryu fight alongside their master, but no matter how much I tried to justify that, it meant I would have a team of 3 Shotos together. Heck, not just Shotos, 3 Shotokans. 3 characters who all fought with the exact same techniques, just with slight variations between them. But instead, I bumped their old master off and decided that the Mount Rushmore of Capcom fighting games would form our first team. Now, we just made what is essentially Team Street Fighter. That means for SNK's first team, we have to go with...
This battle is...
Yo.
Sorry about that. Before we move on, it's just like, yep, pretty much what we said. Agree. Yeah.
Okay, I don't see a problem with having a team.
I mean, it's obvious. It was obvious what was going on there. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't have to.
Yeah, just personally, I don't have a problem with having a team full of characters that fight the same way because you're selecting them as a team. That's less mental overhead for the guy choosing them. You don't have to learn how to play Zangief and then a charge character. It's just all one type.
Gotcha. All right, moving on.
It's about to explode.
Team Hero.
Team Hero.
All right.
Yeah. Thoughts?
I feel like this. I feel like this is the type of one that makes that first team weird, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. But like, if this team was weird, if the team with Kyo on it is weird, then the other team is weird.
See, like this is the thing. I feel like I know KOF pretty alright. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Was Benimaru like billed as like second fiddle?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know he's always been there.
Like, I'm pretty sure he was. Like, he's always on the
best
team.
friend. He is.
Yeah,
Kyo's
but
best
like,
friend.
I mean, okay, excuse me. Let me put it this way, right? Like, KOF in my eyes was always put together in a like the way. What's a weird way to put this that makes sense? Like, as Sonic games go forward, we look at Sonic and Shadow rather than Sonic and Tails as like the big guys, and that's how I've always seen KOF. So now like when I'm seeing Benimaru on Team Hero in the new game, and now this guy's concept game, I'm like that's interesting. I guess it's I can't really like argue though.
You could have done so many different things. Like Kyo needed to match the energy of the. Like, you can't. This is why, like I said, like this team needed to be posters. Since like you needed, like the main character, which is Kyo, right? All right, so you already spent him. So you needed something like incredibly iconic to go with it. And then so like I would think like Iori would make sense, right? Yeah, you'd rip him from his like Vice and Mature team, whatever. You can that is easily fixable.
Yeah.
That is easily fixable. With Rugal or something like that. Yeah. It's super, or like any of Rugal's kids. They're easily fixable, right? And then you'd have you'd have to match the energy of Chun-Li, right? Just so it could go tit for tat with the iconic, right? And what's the first female you think of when you launch like King of Fighters? Probably Mai, right? Of course, right? And then that would be the team, right? It'd be all iconic, right?
Gotcha.
I personally would counteract like big team Street Fighter with like team story, like which I believe to like in my personal opinion, one of the best story team that involves Kyo is Team Sacred Treasures, even though it's technically only in 3 games, about to be 4. Like I would prefer that, but in their defense, this does perfectly match up with the other one.
Yeah,
Benimaru is
just Japanese
Japanese-American.
guy over there. Like,
Well, like Benimaru is Japanese American.
yeah.
Kyo's all Japanese, and I forgot his fucking name.
He's Chinese descent.
Yeah, new guy, he's Chinese. So that does actually, nationality-wise, perfectly match up, which is not something I was thinking about.
Anyone firing up the game is not going to see that. Like, they're gonna.
Yeah, I know. It's that, like, that's in defense of that. That's a cool bit.
I see where he was going with this. He was going with the poster boy, the two poster boy characters.
Shunei, that's his name.
I didn't know Benimaru was that high up, but I know he's Kyo's best friend, and Ryu and Ken are best buds, and always together.
It just can't compete, man.
Yeah, that's like exactly what Crota said. It's gonna look weird, but like I think maybe as an overall package it'll all work better. But
yeah, he'll explain
it doesn't even matter if it works.
Hopefully he'll explain his thought process, but
like,
getting across the part.
Maybe he can explain it, but like I don't think you could ever do that.
Yeah, this specific does
unbelievable.
feel weird. You know, like the direct comparison.
Team Street Fighter versus.
I'm only lukewarm on Benimaru because I didn't know he had that kind of top profile kind of thing. But you know, I know that now because he was announced pretty early in the new King of Fighters game. So.
Yeah.
I mean, he's recognizable, but
yeah.
The other thing that's scary. This is one last thing.
I didn't think he was obscure, but I didn't think he was top billing kind of thing. I'm going to be on the box cover kind of character.
Is he really Ken though?
Yeah, I don't know if he has. I don't know if he has the same like rival power, like the rival best friend power.
That's the thing. I just thought they were best friends. I didn't think they were rivals, but apparently.
Yeah, I don't think they are. I don't know if they are.
I think they are.
They just needed to put icons on here. They just needed to put icons on this team.
Yeah, I personally.
I'm going to give him a benefit. Maybe you had Yori in a better spot.
The almost indefensible one is Shunei being on here. I don't like. You can't.
It feels like when like a Smash character gets announced from like a brand new game that's popular. Okay. That's what it is. It has that same sort of feeling. There is one other thing where I do feel like when I see Kyo and Benimaru on a team without Goro, I'm like, is Goro gonna make it? Like, will they push to put Goro on the team on any team?
It's like Ryu versus Kyo. All right, yeah, I see it. Right, that's even. Right, that's a handshake right there. Right, Ken versus Benimaru. I can see it. Yeah, okay, yeah, you got it. Right, Chun-Li versus Shunei. All right, no, dude. Like, no, dude.
Yeah, the direct comparison doesn't work so well.
No, dude.
Well, you gotta remember, SNK has multiple big dogs.
Yeah,
if you're gonna go, if you're gonna King of Fighter big dogs, this was like, I mean, poster hero, team hero from particularly King of Fighters and the unique King of Fighters characters.
Yeah. Like this is
my boy Shunai. He's a main character of the newer game.
Like this is the thing though. Like when you look at actual Capcom Vs SNK, like 2, they didn't make official teams, and I think this is the reason why. Because direct comparisons aren't super powerful.
You see that. Across the aisle comparisons are all over SNK and Capcom Vs SNK. The way they organize the character select, if you ever looked at that, or if you mirrored it and folded it in half, like if you just folded the roster in half, the exact antagonists are like the opposite image of their self on the opposing side is right there on the other side of the roster. Yeah. Like they had Mai opposed to Chun-Li. They had Ryu opposed to Kyo. They had like I'd have to look at it again, but like it's literally.
We're getting in the weeds on this, but you know, this is when I did this video. When I watched this video for the first time, this is where I stopped and I said, "You know what? This will be a good video to discuss with people." Because I understand where he's going with this.
Yeah.
I'd have to hear it. Just I'd like to play it.
Yeah.
All right. Saying that, we're just gonna move on then. Let me move my mouse over so I can start the video again.
Yes, if you're going to have a team that's the face of Street Fighter, we need a team that's the face of King of Fighters. And over the course of its long life, there have been multiple teams that have used the title Team Hero and focused on the current protagonist of the game. So, when I think of who would be the official representatives of King of Fighters, I of course think of Kyo, the original protagonist of the series, keeper of one of the 3 sacred treasures, and winner of more King of Fighters tournaments than any other character. Next would be Benimaru, Kyo's best friend, who has constantly been there by his side, and even when he does join another team, it's typically with someone who is important to the overall plot of the game, keeping Benimaru in the spotlight. And we need someone to represent the most recent wave of KOF, so of course the most obvious choice is Shune. Now, I know people are still kind of hot and cold on Shune. Some people love him for his gameplay, while some people hate him because, well, look at him. Yeah, this is what happens when you let the all-powerful kid chosen by Destiny dress himself. He's one giant key away from being a Kingdom Hearts character. But I still had to pick him because if we want someone to represent the modern day of King of Fighters, we should probably go with the current protagonist. For anyone who doesn't know, King of Fighters works in arcs, with every 3 or 4 games all being collected together in one storyline with a new character being the protagonist of those games. And starting with KOF 14, Shune's been our newest star. Now, granted, King of Fighters 15 has yet to come out, so our exposure to him is still fairly limited, but as I said, he is who they're pushing as the new face of the game, so you know if Capcom Vs SNK 3 got made, SNK would be pretty adamant about him being included. And it even makes sense. I mean, Kyo and Benimaru have been on a team forever, so of course they would pair up. And we know that in King of Fighters 15, Kyo is asking Benimaru to join Shune's team to help mentor him, so these 3 could totally come together. And I know some people might be upset that Goro is being left off Kyo and Benny's team, but he's always the member of Team Japan to be left off whenever they need a slot. He didn't even make it into the first 2 CVSs, so don't worry, he's used to this. He'll go home and be a family man, he's fine.
So,
Alright. Going forward, if I heavily disagree with that, I'm gonna wait until after it.
You're gonna wait till after the whole video? Gotcha.
After he explains it, because I disagree, man. Like, you don't need a modern representation. You don't need a modern representation. Like, you don't need a modern here. Like, people don't care that much.
Yeah, I
don't care that much.
It's one of those things where that is a desire, like, on a marketing level, but also like a not multi-level, but, like, you know what I mean, like cross promotion sort of marketing level. But when you make a game like this, like a crossover game, you want, like, you know, longtime fans from both places to be extremely excited. And, like, it's not like he put goddamn Rashid on Team World Warrior, even though he is a world-traveling badass.
Yeah.
And he's from the newest game, and guess what? He's the main character of Street Fighter V. So, like, you can see, like, the design ethos kind of clashing.
Yeah, you
right
can say
there.
Rashid and Karen are the main characters of Street Fighter V if you go story-wise.
But Rashid is, like, he is the main character.
Yeah.
He's the main guy, and he's brand new, and they pushed him. He's right on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's like, I don't know. That's a weird thing. You would, personally, in my opinion, I think you would want to excite the longtime fans, and then, you know, then work in your, and here's a tie-in for the new game or something like that.
Maybe he had other characters put in some other places, but, you know.
The thing is, I should just be able to look at a team and just be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? I should be able to, oh, okay. Like, so you put, like, Team World Warriors, and I was like, okay, like, you know, like, Ryukin on the first team, of course you have to, right? You had to. Your hand was forced. It's Street Fighter, like, basically Capcom represents at this point. I was like, oh, you had to, right? And then Chun-Li, oh, of course, it's a Street Fighter's heavily represented. Had to put Chun-Li, you know, and then you could fix the other teams, like, based on that. But you needed to make sure the first icons are just front and center, so you could have them for the cover of whatever.
Speaking of covers, do y'all remember who is on the cover of Capcom Vs SNK 2?
No one?
Huh?
Was
they had a poster character.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All I can remember is the PS2 disc has Dan Hibiki and Joe on it. Actually, wait, is his last name Hibiki as well?
We have Street Fighter.
Oh.
They have Ryu on the cover.
I see the cover. I remember this cover now.
who is that? I mean, well, we know who that is, but why is he on the
Just
front
like
cover?
Capcom, Maki, and Sagat. Like, it's actually unfair because they have like two. They have like two Street Fighter characters, and then a Rival Schools character, and then Kim. Like,
Yeah, isn't that weird? As the poster character for that, while I was talking, I just looked over and saw that.
No, I
and just
forgot
thought
all
about
about that.
And I just thought about that. So,
but like, you're making a game, and you make a team. It should be tit for tat. The first one, like, there's a reason why, like, you know, there's a reason why they always put these characters together. Like,
yeah. All right. So, well, we saw Capcom and we saw SNK. So we're going back to Capcom. Who do you think we got next? Let's see.
Live and let die.
Back after the ultimate improvement.
Uh-oh. Pleased to meet you.
This time, Jimmy, me and you and Sakura, we're getting in, and we're gonna show the world just how awesome the Sakyo arts truly are.
Team Psycho.
yeah, that's fine. It's not again. That's fine. Like, I have no objection. Like this, like, I don't know. I really hope I don't get shot on the SNK side again, because this makes sense again, like, immediately.
Yeah, it's funny because there's like the character, like, logically here, the only character that could really fit in any other team is Sakura, and like once you decide that Sakura is gonna be with Dan, or Sakura is gonna be with Blanca, like you have to put the other character. Like, the trifecta is there no matter what. If you said
take Sakura away and put her on any other team, these two don't exist. That you can't put Dan.
Yeah, these guys just aren't in the game. Like, if Sakura is not with one of them, which would also require the other to show up, Dan just does not show up in the game if the game's roster is team based.
I feel like I can skip the explanation on this.
They're gonna hate you. You might not like it, but in an SNK versus game, you gotta have Dan. Sorry,
Yeah,
you gotta have him.
Yeah, it's like there's an alternate team for, like, you could have like Sakura with Karen and then somebody else. I don't know who, honestly, off the top of my head. Just one of the other kids that went to school. Hell, put the rival school character in there.
I feel like you can just skip the explanation on this one then.
Yeah, it's one pretty clear. You gotta have Dan.
Unfortunately, I can't skip it, but you know we're still gonna go through it. But
I'm just gonna let him talk. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You got no more. You got nothing else to add to it. I got you.
Yeah, it's set in stone. It makes perfect sense and no argument.
All right,
perfect trifecta.
I'll move forward with his explanation then.
Yeah.
Team Psycho style. Alright, remember how I said if there actually was a canonical team of 3 characters already set up in these games, then they would get special treatment? Here you go. Dan, Sakura, and Blanca are canonically all friends in the Street Fighter universe and have hung out and trained before over the course of several games. But even beyond them just being a pre-existing team, it's a pretty solid set of characters to boot. You got Blanca, one of the original World Warriors from Street Fighter 2, so he's got history with this franchise. Then you got Sakura, one of the most popular fighting game characters of all time. No, seriously, that's not an opinion. Capcom did a poll of the most popular Street Fighter characters, and she came in at number 1. She is definitely a big enough name that you need to include her in this roster. And then there's Dan. Dan. Oh, Dan. You have to include Dan Hibiki in Capcom Vs SNK. That's not an exaggeration. You have to include him. For anyone who doesn't know the origin of Dan Hibiki, back in the 90s, SNK launched a certain game that featured many characters that Capcom looked at and said, those are just our characters. You're totally ripping us off. So Capcom, in turn, created Dan Hibiki to be a parody of the characters from that game, and then made him a joke character who was incredibly weak, specifically to make fun of SNK. And since then, any time that SNK and Capcom have crossed over, Dan has always been in the roster as sort of a way of these two companies looking at each other and saying, we're just kidding, no hard feelings, oh, we have fun, don't we? Yeah, in these crossover games, Dan Hibiki is sort of the olive branch between Capcom and SNK. So we had to work him in here somewhere, and the fact that he comes from his own built-in 3-person team just cements his placement. But that's only half of the equation, because if we're including Dan and his team, we have to include the team that would be their rivals, the original rip-offs that Dan proceeded to rip off.
Go.
So you mean
Yeah,
you can just move
I
on,
already
but
did that.
nothing
Yeah,
else.
I already did that.
Y'all good?
Yeah. I feel like everyone's heard that story by now. Like, it's every time he's mentioned ever, like in any sort of trivial sense, which is like most of the time he's mentioned, they go through the entire history of that.
Yeah. It's a bit funny at this point because it's actually like so well known. It's actually less known that Capcom never sued them for it because Capcom already lost a lawsuit trying to copyright Street Fighter characters.
Mm-hmm.
They literally lost a lawsuit to like Data East or something for fighting history.
That's the world. I mean, not World Heroes or whatnot. Yeah,
World
World
fighting
Heroes.
history.
All right, let's just see the team with Robert Garcia.
Alrighty.
Go for broke.
Go for what?
Oh, yeah. So you just want a Rio instead of
Team Art of Fighting.
Team Art of Fighting with butts.
Gonna go for okay. His actual name is like Marco or something like that, but we know him as Kushner Butt.
Yeah.
This is actually really funny to me because he specifically said the team that he's supposed to be like copying off.
Yeah, I thought.
And then
Robert,
doesn't include Robert, which is the reason Dan's hair looks like that.
Yeah.
Like, Dan's hair is because of that.
I thought they would. Yeah, I thought it would put the look spoof into this team.
Absolutely.
With yours. Like, I literally thought this exact team, but Robert Garcia instead of.
The way it looks to me, it looks like he was like, two is enough, and I wanted to put my personal pick in there.
You know the craziest thing about this is because remember, he said, "I don't want to have a team full of Shotos." What is this? These guys literally. You can do the exact same inputs with Kushnude Butt and fucking Rio, and you get the same thing. you can do the exact same inputs, you'll get the same combo. Like those are the exact same character nearly. They have some differences. They have some hold button moves on Marco
despite the
and all
mirror
that.
comparison. Let's throw the mirror comparison out the window. Forget about Dan for a minute. But what do y'all think about the team itself here?
I think it's fine. I think it missed a little bit of the joke, but whatever.
I'm
also,
excited.
like, he played the
I
mobile
saw
game.
butts and I was like, "Yo."
I think it's cool that I'm not familiar with that character, but it's pretty sick.
He's great.
He's really fun.
He's really fun.
I think you miss something. I think you miss out when you don't have Robert, though. I think you legit do miss out on some of the design flair of Art of Fighting. And the fun thing about it is, no matter you could have Takane, Mr. Karate there instead of Marco. No matter what, you have everyone doing the same fighting style. But when you add in Roberto or Robert, you get like a different take on the fighting style, even though they're the same moves and they've done it, but he does them different. Mm-hmm. He's the like the fierce tiger to the strongest dragon, I think is what it's supposed to be. I think that's the thing. I don't know. That bit's
maybe Robert someplace else. That's the only way I can say.
I guess in my opinion, I think you could have this exact same team. I don't even think you don't need, if you want to have this team, what I would actually change is the name. Because if you have Team Psycho style, you should change this to their style. Because I don't know Japanese, but specifically the Sasaki family, their fighting style is like their fighting style has a name, and it's like it's supposed to be like strongest or like fiercest style, and then that's why Psycho style is there, because that's strongest style. So you could have had like a little back and forth
so
there.
You think a name that
Like a name, because specifically these guys fight the same way, and it's like that's the same. It's the same dojo, so you could have just acted like it was a dojo fight, and I would have liked that personally.
I think we need to drop the whole like side by side comparisons, because I don't think that's what he's going for.
Yeah.
Every team, it feels like so. Like this far, we've only seen 4, but like every time they show the counterpart, they show like it's one thing that bridges them together, and then maybe like 2. Like
so I'm just
maybe
looking at
like
the team
2
here.
things that bridge
I
together,
like this team.
and they fail to perfectly mirror it.
Yeah.
I'm just happy Butts is on here.
Yeah, it's Kyokugen Ryu. That's the name of it.
I don't think that's what he's going for. So
yeah, I know. I think that would have been fun. But yeah, personally, I mean, like I think you could show this to anybody and they'd be like, maybe. But like I'd like Marco. I'm happy to see him. He's a fun character to play.
Yeah, I
I
enjoy
don't think he's going for the perfect mirror, even though
he definitely
easy and would just make people happy. I swear.
This is the first game he'll appear out of Mark of the Wolves. So
yeah, but you could put him with like I don't think people like. You could put him like on a team with like someone else of a similar style. There's not a shortage of it.
Oh yeah, there's 1,000 characters that are in fucking Kyokugen Ryu.
If you're looking for a person to put that on.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I hope they show gameplay of Butts and shows the wacky stuff he can do.
Yeah,
he's more known for being in the background.
I know.
Yeah, he's in a lot of backgrounds.
His actual gameplay stuff
KOF.
is wacky. Like if you a high level Butts player, you should see it. He's wacky.
Yeah, but that's just mostly Garo being whack.
Yeah,
it's fun stuff. Crazy game.
The game is weird. I don't know why they didn't make another Mark of the Wolves in that style with that fighting system. It's great. All right, ready to move on? Let's go.
Yes, the Art of Fighting team is a tradition in King of Fighters. It was one of SNK's early breakout fighting game series, and as I said, it's kind of the other half of the Dan Hibiki coin.
That deep up
the
cross
joke of putting Dan in Capcom Vs SNK only works if you include at least some of the characters he was ripping off. But again, I'm not just going to include them for the joke.
Oh,
the Art of Fighting games are
right
kind of a big chunk of that SNK pie. However, when it comes to the Art of Fighting team in King of Fighters, it's typically the exact same lineup over and over again with very few changes. There's typically only about 4 or max 5 different characters that end up on this team. However, for this installment, I'm going to spice things up a little bit in order to create a little more variety of characters. The first 2 members, however, are going to be obvious choices. You got Ryo, the face of Art of Fighting. Then you got his sister Yuri, a super popular character within the SNK universe. She was essentially Sakura before Sakura, and yes, I see the irony of Capcom accusing Art of Fighting of ripping off a Street Fighter character, and then a few years later, they ended up accidentally creating a Street Fighter character that was pretty much a ripoff of an Art of Fighting character. But for the final slot, I hate doing this to Robert Garcia, but he will sadly, once again, not be joining his teammates. I know it's unfair that his family sponsored the first game, and yet he's never even been on the ticket, but he will once again have to sit out this CVS. Because taking his spot is a character I've been saying for years needs to finally join the Art of Fighting team. Marco Rodriguez, or as he is known in the English translation, Kushnud Butt. Has there ever been a character who got a worse deal in the English translation? This is like a Phoenix Wright joke name. Now, Kushnud is a fan-favorite character because of his crazy aggressive fighting style and his big bombastic personality, and since he originates from Garo Mark of the Wolves, if I include him in this roster, it expands our range further than just the King of Fighters cast. But most importantly, despite being a disciple of Ryo, despite appearing in the Art of Fighting stages, despite appearing in Art of Fighting team endings, he still hasn't moved over to the King of Fighters to join the Art of Fighting team. So if this game allows me to finally make that happen, heck yes, I'm going to take that opportunity. Also, this would be a good time to finally bring this up. One of the best things about the last CVS were the character interactions, where specific fighters would have unique lines or actions before a match when facing a specific opponent. And I would absolutely bring that back. Either once again have unique intro animations, or just unique dialogue exchanges between characters before the match. But since we're doing 3 character teams in here, I would suggest actually having unique intro scenes, not just between specific characters, but between specific teams. And the exchange between Psycho Style and Art of Fighting practically writes itself. Whether it be in the arcade ladder or the story mode or whatever this game ends up having, I would love to see Dan and Ryo accusing each other of copying their styles. Then Sakura and Yuri are 2 sides of the same coin, so they find an equal opponent in each other. And lastly, you got Kushnud and Blanca, 2 Brazilian fighters who trained alongside animals in the forest. This lines up so well, it justifies the entire idea of having character interactions.
This is gonna be.
So he is going for the tit for tat. I don't understand. Like it's an like he digs so much deeper on the SNK side for like similarities that you like miss it at face value.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what Capcom side stuff he's gonna do.
It's like the Capcom side. Sorry to interrupt, but like it's like the Capcom side, you can just understand at like a snap, right? Of course, right? Of course. And then the SNK side is like, I need to read the lore to understand why these are like. It's like you make the Capcom side first, and then you like go lore diving for like the SNK stuff.
The thing is, I
think he was lore diving because he just wanted butts in the teams.
Yeah, I mean, I
just put him with a different team. You don't need like one of like caveats to include Art of Fighting. You could just put him with Mr. Karate or something like that, and then he could interact with Ryo on a different team.
Yeah, I like SNK is actually known for doing this. They're either called dream teams or alt teams, where they have teams that are set in the game, but they're made up of characters from different teams. And you could very easily do that in this game, especially with, like having across the aisle teams and stuff like that. You could have an Art of Fighting team that's just Ryo, King and Robert, and then have Yuri, Mr. Karate Marco, or something like that as a different team. You could do that. They probably won't. I hope they do. I hope they lore dive for Street Fighter. I'm a fucking
noticed
nerd.
he's like pulling some deep. No, you said it right, Scott. Gorilla Guy. He's pulling deep for SNK, but staying face value for Street Fighter. I mean, for Capcom.
I just feel like every time he does an SNK roster, I just need to not talk until he explains.
I mean, the whole point is that we want to take the initial thought shot, and then he explains it.
I'll just say one word or so, like a couple sentences, and then I'll just let him go.
Alright. Anything else, or are we gonna move on?
Keep going.
I'm happy about butts.
Yeah, he's a cool character.
Nice.
Right.
Be a match to remember.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Why are they putting the jams in there? Of course, yes sir. Yes sir.
Team Metro City.
Of course.
We can get it. Corona said it. It's on site. The Capcom side is.
The Capcom side, they just have the hitters, bro.
We didn't need to talk about Lucia. We didn't need to discuss if Poison should be on the team. We're just like, no, it makes sense.
So would you rather have Lucia than Hagar there?
No, I like this. I'm down. I'm down. You get. See, it's a weird thing when you make a game about teams. There's 2 things you want to do. There's 2 choices you can go make it a team. A team of variety or a team of similar styles with different strengths. If you have a team like Art of Fighting, you have the middle ground, which is Ryo. That you have a cross-up character with like crazier projectiles in Yuri, and then you have like a full-on rush-down crazy man and Butt. Fine, yeah, that's a cool idea. Or then you can have something like this, where you have characters that just fundamentally play different. It's a whole variety of different characters on one team, and I think those are cool too. I think having a equal mix of both is really fun.
Bro, it's like okay, you hear the music, you see Cody, and I see Cody, and I'm like, all right, I already know what his gang is, right? Like I already know. Like you could pull different ones.
Offend you,
I'm just like thinking like, who is it gonna be this time? Because he could just take any one of them.
Yeah.
And it was like, so I was assuming guy had to be in there, right? The one mandatory partner, and then it's just like, okay, now they can pull like their variety slot.
So would you rather have Lucia or I don't know, Poison?
Hagar doesn't really get to show up in much stuff, so whatever.
Yeah, I'd love to see Hagar. When people think about the game, they think about Hagar. I don't know, give him a Slam Masters alternate costume. I don't care. Just go crazy. I'd love to see Hagar. I like the variety of this team. It's you could get the real.
Yeah, I'm good on this one.
You get the real beat 'em ups experience with this.
I don't think Lucia fits that spot, or he could have been weird and chose another Final Fight. I mean, another Final Fight character, and been like.
I feel like you'd be diving
what's the sword
deep.
guy? Carlos or something? Carlos? You gonna just somebody that hasn't been in a fighting game yet?
Yeah, but like I don't know, like maybe pull a like returning character. Like this is a crossover game. We're not trying to create like new stuff. We're like trying to bring something that we've
those are
already
not off the
established.
table. It's everybody from Capcom.
Oh yeah, no. What he's saying is like you might want to get to what people want to see,
gotcha.
what people know. So you know.
Yeah, like when it's a crossover game, you don't make like new characters for the crossover game, really. Like
usually, but sometimes they do. But yeah, usually you don't want to do that. Or
like if it's an established fighting game series, right? You take established fighters, right? They might not be from that. Like Hagar would be his established fighting game that he's from is like Marvel, right?
Yeah, he's more known for being in Marvel than he is the beat 'em
he was
ups.
created new in that one, but like you could pull him. It's now that he's been in there once, right? They took the risk and created him for that, right? In a fighting game for that. Right now that they've already taken that, now they can just pull from him for all future ones.
Yeah, and if they think they don't want to do so much barrel throwing and pipe swinging, just make them select Slam Master.
Gotcha. So since this team is perfectly fine for everybody here,
yeah, I think this team is fine.
Would you like this reincarnate, or do you want Mayor Cody and then just regular Hagar, not Mayor Hagar?
I mean,
Mayor Cody.
No, this is fine. This is fine because he's
Final Fight
he's the
Cody.
mayor, bro. You can't be having two mayors, Doug.
What about Final Fight Cody, not Prison Cody?
Like I am always of the opinion that everyone, when you're doing a crossover game where you're trying to get everyone, you're trying to get people that stopped playing Street Fighter years ago, people that haven't stopped playing Street Fighter, people that are just getting into Street Fighter, just getting into SNK, their games, they only played old games. You want to have the ideal version of these characters, like the one you picture in your head. Like when Smash Brothers put in Snake, and he's technically 5 different versions of Snake at once.
He's Twin Snake Steak.
I mean, he looks like Metal Gear Solid 1 Snake, but he got the beard from Metal Gear Solid 3, and he uses tech from Metal Gear Solid 4. Like you want the ideal, and I think when you think of these characters, you're not thinking of Final Fight Streetwise. You're thinking of like Jailbird, Ninja and Orange.
Not decent, not regular.
You're not thinking of Slam Masters, Mayor. You're thinking about Mike Hagar with the belt across the chest and slamming you full body. That's what you're thinking
and
of.
Guy just looks the same in every generation. So,
yeah. I mean, Streetwise, he had a weird tribal tattoo going down his leg.
Yeah,
not sure about that one, but yeah, I think this is the ideal. This is what you're thinking of. Maybe the only thing I would say is maybe you put Cody in the white T-shirt and the jeans. Maybe, but everyone else, I think they look like this, and you make them look like this. You don't do Mayor Cody, you do this Cody. or classic Cody, I guess. Everyone else didn't look like this.
Looks great. Enjoy it. Move on to explanation, but we all know it, so let's go on.
This was another no-brainer. It's one of the most well-established three-person teams in Capcom's history. Ever since the first Final Fight game came out over 30 years ago, these three have been the face of Capcom's beat-em-up games. Which, yes, I know I said that we were mostly going to focus on fighting game properties, but beat-em-ups and fighting games have always been genres separated at birth, so it totally works. Plus, it's not like these characters didn't eventually make their way over towards the fighting side of the family anyways. Cody and Guy both went on to become regulars in Street Fighter, and Hagar became the Final Fight representative in Marvel, as well as starring in the early Capcom wrestling franchise, Saturday Night Slam Masters, so they totally fit the theme. And just speaking in terms of gameplay, these three are a great combo. You got Guy for speed, Hagar for strength, and then Cody for a nice balance between the two with a few tricks and gimmicks to help keep the opponent on their toes. Also, you could still give Cody his various weapons from the games, like pipes or knives, but you could tie them to the different groove systems, allowing him to show off how these different meters could really change up the combat. For example, let's say that you create a groove based around the gameplay in Street Fighter V, so each character would have a V skill that they could use. And for Cody, when you activate that V skill, he would pull out his knife. But you could also create a groove based around King of Fighters 14, where characters could burn a meter to go into max mode, while in this mode, Cody would pull out his pipe. Not every character should have this much variety in the groove systems, but we should have a few characters that really lean into this mechanic and show off its potential, and Cody is a great choice for that.
Go for broke!
Nothing else to say, really, but just...
We're good.
Yeah, we can keep going.
Keep on going. Keep trucking.
Hey, come on!
Team Fatal Fury.
This is the direct middle ground between the unhinged Fatal Fury teams and the classic Fatal Fury teams.
I think it's fine. These characters should be put like. I feel like these characters belong on different separate teams that could be. Where.
Yeah, this is weird.
I feel like it takes a lot from it took Mai away from the poster team for SNK. Yeah, Terry and Kim being on the same team is fine. They could easily have found a third.
Yeah, the only thing is this is a wallop of a team.
This is Fatal
Every
Fury.
single member
This
of these.
Fatal Fury.
I'll let him explain. It's like. But for the most part, I'm okay with it. I just feel like Mai could have been placed in a different team.
Every single member of this team could have been the headliner of another team. You could have had Fatal Fury team starring Terry, then blah blah blah. You could have women's team, beauty team, whatever they call it in the game, because they call it like 9 different things. Mai right up front, blah 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 blah, King, whatever. Then Team Korea, Team Villain, Team Righteous Justice. Kim on the front, blah 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 blah. They do that all the time.
Yeah, this team just is it just takes too much from other teams. This team kills a lot of teams.
Well,
that could easily be solo carried.
I agree with you, but the one thing that gets me for this is since this kills other teams. Well, cleans up headliners for other teams. This frees up other teams as well. You don't have to go them off into other things. I think since they're all the big must-have, the 3 must-haves for Fatal Fury is on one team, then I think maybe the other characters can be some other place.
I just don't understand why this.
That's what
I don't understand why this.
But when I thought Fatal Fury, this is kind of what I would pick too.
Yeah, but I just don't understand why this team is pretty much as iconic as the front cover KOF Team Hero, right?
Well, the problem, I think KOF.
This is a problem.
Yeah, this team could go up against Ryu, Ken, and Chun-Li a lot better.
I think the difference is I think this probably would be the front cover, if King of Fighters wasn't like the top dog over Fatal Fury.
Yeah, but what we're saying is, icon-wise, this is a heavy-hitting team.
Yeah.
This team is
We keep
probably
forgetting
more
how
heavy hitting.
iconic Fatal Fury is, but Fatal Fury doesn't have its own game in forever.
Yeah, but Terry still made it into Smash.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
He's so iconic, yet his game does never get. Mark of the Wolves have yet to move on.
It doesn't matter.
Fatal
yeah,
Fury
people.
Mark of the Wolves.
What matters is that people never forget.
Yeah,
and people
like,
might forget Shanae in a couple years.
Like, speaking of Smash, like you think, like no one cares that they don't remember your original game. They remember the character. Like, if you talk about Marth, right? Sure, they have never heard of that Fire Emblem game in their life, but like they remember Marth. He's iconic still, nonetheless.
Yeah, you like it. This is a team that's unforgettable. Like, so it's weird. This is a team.
If they did a video game, I mean, as the cover on the cover, we would have Kim the Ryu Street Fighter team, and this would be on the cover. But in the games, they would be pushing King of Fighters team, the King of Fighters team. As the main
I guess
my
it just feels like a mismatch to me. Well,
yeah, I guess my gripe with this is like this kind of means like a team like this. I'm like, how are you gonna fit Joe in this game? How are you gonna fit Blue Mary in this game? You probably won't. How are you gonna fit Andy into this game? You probably won't. How are you gonna fit Tizok in this game? You probably won't. Like I don't know. Maybe you're gonna make a team wrestle, team kick. I don't know. Like, I don't know how you fit some of these characters. So like when you have like their team hero, Wolves the Casualty, Goro Daimon. When you have Team Art of Fighting, who is the Casualty, Robert Garcia. When you look at this team, there's like 8 casualties. You gonna put Chang in this? You gonna put Chang in this game still? Maybe. Yeah. But like, there's a couple casualties when you look at this team.
Explanation, and we'll go on from there.
Okay, now is when we have to start getting creative with these teams in order to make sure that the widest range of characters can be included.
Oh, pause for a second. Hey, Michael. Michael Lofton's in the stream real quick. Popped in. What's up? We are just watching a video and commentating over it. Alright, back to the... Sorry, guys.
Because if you're a longtime King of Fighters fan, then you know Terry and Kim are rarely ever on the same team together, having only teamed up in one installment, and Mai, while being obsessed with Terry's brother Andy, has only officially been on the team once or twice. But in order to build a roster with the widest variety and to include the biggest name characters, I had to shuffle around some of the regular cast members and get creative, which left us with this team. Terry Bogard, one of the most popular fighting game characters of all time, and he's practically Mr. SNK, the face of this company. Heck, he even made it into Smash Bros. As the representative of this age of arcade fighters. You have to include Terry. Someone has to check and see if everyone is okay. Then there's Kim Capwan. He's a big fan favorite. His strong sense of justice is a great recurring joke that would be perfect to put in here for character interactions, and his crazy fast kicks have made him a strong competitive fighter for many installments. And then there's Mai, who is essentially SNK's Chun-Li. She's probably the most famous female character that this company has. And as I said, yes, each of these 3 characters typically come from their own team, with Terry typically being the leader of Team Fatal Fury, while Mai is usually on Team Woman Fighters, and Kim typically belongs to Team Korean Justice and later just joined Team Kim, but all 3 of them originated from the Fatal Fury series. All 3 of them have a long history with each other, and they have, even if it was rarely, fought on the same team. So while I will admit this is the weirdest Team Fatal Fury ever put together, it's the team that we need for this game to get the most big name characters in here.
You can feel the calm.
Alright.
Yeah, like it's like I said, he went wide on that, which like he's saying is gonna make it so he can have the biggest variety. I think he might have killed some of the variety.
I think
a
so
little
too.
bit
He
there,
might have killed the fight. He might have lost a couple people with that, but you know I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
It's like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you lost a little bit of variety, but it's the variety I care about, but maybe most people don't care about because like
you're ready to shoot that ad, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's gonna add in 2 seconds, but like it's. Yeah, like Blue Mary, I don't know. Like you probably ain't gonna see that character in this game. So it's like one of the characters. I was like, oh, I'd love to see Blue Mary. Like we asked right at the start of the stream, would you like to see Blue Mary? I'd like to see Blue Mary.
Oh, just to let you know, Mike, I got my brothers here. We're just chatting over the video, dude. So say hi if you want to. See. All right, sorry about that, guys. Just wondering who that was. But yeah, nothing else, or are we gonna move on?
No, we're good. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
All right, next guy.
Before the storm at
Oh, hey, but first, ads that I blocked.
Yeah.
the round begins.
Oh yeah.
Team Third Strike. This is another group of characters that felt sorely missing from Capcom
Dog,
Vs
what is he
SNK 2.
doing?
Street Fighter 3, specifically the third installment.
Wait.
I have no clue what
Wait.
the hell that was. What was
that?
what was
What
that?
was
You got
that?
custom combos? What was that?
What was that?
A group of characters that felt sorely missing from
Dog, what
Capcom
was
Vs
that?
SNK
What's
2.
that?
Street Fighter 3, specifically the third installment,
You
has
got
gone
custom
to become
combos?
one of the biggest fighting games
I've
in
never seen
history.
that combo before in my life.
However, it received
I wouldn't
almost
worry
no
about
representation in
never
Capcom
seen
Vs
that
SNK
before in
2,
my
with
life.
Yun being the only character from that game to appear in there. But it's understandable why. I mean, not only was Capcom primarily using sprites from the Alpha series, so they probably didn't want to mix them together, but also Street Fighter 3 took a while before everyone started to see how brilliant it was, and the
What is this
FGC
Dudley
really fell in love with
he's
it.
got going?
Heck, if CVS 2 had been made just a year later, we probably would have seen a few more characters popping up in there. So to correct this decision, we're going to give the Street Fighter 3 characters their own team, called Team Third Strike, because... Also, this is a three-person tournament, so the
I
name
didn't
kind of
stop
works.
it. I
For this
just
team,
realized
I'm
I
going
didn't
with
stop
Alex,
it,
the
but
protagonist of Street Fighter 3, and another grappler, which is always good to have around, just to provide this roster with some variety. Dudley, one of the more popular characters from the game, who would provide a good combination of close-range pressure and psychological mix-ups, and Makoto, who... Listen, I could go into details about her playstyle, but real talk, Makoto is in here because she is one of the most popular Street Fighter characters of all time. Remember that popularity poll where Sakura was number 1? Makoto was number 2. And she's been in almost no games, and yet people still love her that much. And hey, I say this almost every episode of this show, but popularity isn't everything. However, it sure is something. So if that many people love you, then I don't see any reason not to use you. In fact, while we're on the subject of Makoto, let me address something that a lot of her fans might be about to bring up in the comments down below, which is that there is another team that I almost put her on. If you know the Street Fighter comics, then you know that she goes to school with Ibuki and Elena, so that would be the obvious choice for her team. But first off, the Street Fighter comics aren't canon. Except for when they are. Yeah, it's kind of weird how they pick and choose what counts, but it's been strongly implied by the developers that this particular story doesn't count. And secondly, while I do want to include teams that make sense, i.e. teams that already exist within their universes, sometimes you have to sacrifice the obvious team for a team that includes more variety and popular choices. I mean, if I could squeeze about 2 or 3 more teams on each side of this roster, then heck yes, this would be Makoto's team. But sadly, because I have to limit the size to a reasonable amount, she'll be teaming up with Alex and Dudley. And for anyone wondering why they would all team up, I could see Dudley wanting to enter this tournament, so he hires Alex to be his partner because Alex beat Gil.
All right, yeah, no, that was fake. All right. Now we're smoking something. I don't know what's going on here, Doug.
It was obvious. It was obvious. That was no regular.
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't want to say anything, but if you watch them whip buttons during some of those other clips, he whipped like 3 standing mediums, and they had no frames.
Yeah,
because I have to
he's in rainbow mode. I don't know why he got those clips.
Anyone wondering why
I don't know if
I could see Dudley wanting to enter this
or he just like
tournament, so he hires Alex to be his partner.
Yeah, do you see him whip Gil?
You know, the guy who stole Dudley's car. That just makes sense.
I don't know if you see him whipping, but
Makoto would be so desperate to get into this tournament.
It was cartoonish right there.
The moment that she hears there's a team looking for a third member, she would travel halfway across the world and break down the doors and shove her way onto this team. Again, I will admit it is a weird pairing, but it could work, and I do kind of love thinking of how these very different personalities would bounce off each other.
That's what.
Alright, so since I didn't stop in the beginning, what's your call?
I think this team's this team's like a little whack. Personally, personally, I think this team's a little whack.
I don't care. Like if you know anything about one of them, you know that like they're just pulling from that.
Yeah, like, it's like you know what I'm saying. Like when they went to SNK and they're talking about the lore and they're trying to put all this stuff together lore wise, and they do this team and it's just like, hey, you know, it'll be fun. It's because you get the exact same amount of Third Strike characters if you do the girls that are friends. Like, you get the exact same amount of Third Strike characters, and you can put Alex in a team with, I don't know, some wrestlers. You know, it's not like Street Fighter doesn't have 2 other wrestlers you could put on a team with Alex. They have like 8 other wrestlers you can put on a team with Alex, and it's not like there ain't boxes you can put with Dudley. I don't know. It just seems weird.
I don't get it, but like, no, I get what you're saying. It's just like, is it fair to say I don't care? The team's cool.
Yeah, it's like I guess if I would prefer.
It's like a team that you wouldn't go lore diving on, but it's a team that you could see, and you're like, okay, I understand why these characters are together.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where I was like, I became down the clown with like lore diving. If we're gonna do like lore dive for teams, I love it. Dude, go crazy. Put Dan on team with Fei Long because they're both from freaking like Hong Kong. Like, go crazy, go stupid. I don't care. But like then this team is just like, you know, whatever, just put them together. And I'm like, okay, fine. Like, I can't be mad at this team, but I can say I would prefer something else.
You're not hype for this team, but it's a passing grade. It's a B.
this is I don't know. This is a C+. This is for me personally.
I'm happy because it has
feels
Makoto and she's included, but they could have been a better team with that have her.
Yeah. I like to see Makoto. I mean, I like to see all those characters. Maybe less so on Dudley, I guess, because I don't feel like I don't know. I guess of those characters, Dudley's the character I care about seeing the least. But I would still like to see him.
I do like seeing Dudley. Alex is the only one I'll be like, over, but he's the main. He's the main face of Street Fighter 3. He's the main character.
He's a mascot. If you have every one of Street Fighter's mascots, I would like you got to have Alex in there, in my opinion, at least. I'd like, but I just would like to see him surrounded by other wrestlers, personally.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, anything or gonna move along?
No, I'm good.
We're good.
Moving on.
What we like to call big damage.
Team Mark of the Wolves.
That's a weird.
Yep. Whatever. Explain.
That's a weird team. I mean, that's a weird team. It's named after the game, but unfortunately, the game is named after Terry. So it's a little stupid. Not stupid. Let me. It's just funny, you know, because you're like. It's like Team Super Mario. We got Luigi, Bowser, and Peach. And like, it's a bit funny.
Yeah.
But you know, this is. I mean, all right. If we're gonna be honest, this is a guy's bias. He likes some Mark of the Wolves. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Everyone
I'm
thinks
on the choices for Mark of the Wolves here. Since
yeah,
well, Terry
he's
predisposed.
Yeah,
so.
But like, to be honest, I mean, we've only seen a couple teams, but like, it's like we got 4 Mark of the Wolves characters in a Capcom Vs SNK game.
Yep.
We got 4 characters that exclusively.
Yeah, we're seeing this guy's bias. Game. Well, you know.
Yeah, it's clear now. Yeah, we got 4 characters.
This is why Butts isn't over here.
Just like, explain.
Yeah, go ahead. Like, if these characters, you can explain it off because they're all on the same team, but like all in the same like tournament. But
I just hope he has an explanation for why people aren't on the team. Now, I'm not asking why they're on the team. I'm asking why aren't the other people on this team.
Yeah.
Me personally, I think this is a kind of good choice for a Mark of the Wolves team, I guess. Weirdly, but other than our Luchador wrestler, I really do want to see B. But.
Yeah, B Janet's fun.
I do like to see B Janet because I think this is the only place you'll see her. But the Luchador guy, you know, I mean, He needs playing for him. I could have switched him out for somebody else.
Yeah, it's just a. I don't know.
I know he's very popular, apparently.
Yeah, there is some precedent for this team, I will say, because there was a KOF game. Well, there's a couple KOF games that B Janet is in, and when she is in them, I believe she was on team with Tizok and Gato. But that again, that game's reason for them being on the same team was, well, because Garo was a pretty cool game.
Yeah, Mark of the Wolves.
And that was the full explanation. I assume that's what we're gonna hear right here. But instead of having Gato, we have Rock, because Poggy, the fans love him.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well,
that's
let's
that.
see the explanation.
Yes, if you have a team Third Strike, then you need a team Mark of the Wolves. Galro Mark of the Wolves was often referred to as SNK's attempt to compete with Third Strike, as they released just a few months apart. And while Mark of the Wolves didn't go on to be as beloved as Third Strike, it is still to this day considered one of SNK's best fighting games and introduced so many new characters that fans have come to love. In fact, one of SNK's most popular characters, Rock Howard, made his debut in this game. And yet, it wasn't until he appeared in Capcom Vs SNK 2 that his popularity exploded, as so many Capcom fans picked this game up, saw this character for the first time, and fell in love with him. So considering that the last CVS put this character on the map, we're going to let him lead his own team in the sequel. And joining Rock Howard on this team is going to be Tizok, because not only does it provide the game with yet another grappler, so that way fans of these types of characters will have a large variety to choose from, but also because Tizok has gone to be one of the few Mark of the Wolves characters to have a recurring role in the King of Fighters game. In fact, let me go ahead and address this right now. I know that a lot of people might be arguing that rather than using his heroic Griffin persona, we should include his latest heel turn moniker, King of Dinosaurs. Listen, I love Tizok's King of Dinosaurs personality. It's great, but at the time of this recording, we still don't know if he's going to keep that for upcoming games. He's only used it in King of Fighters 14, and we have no idea what the future holds for this character. So in order to play it safe, we're going to have Tizok stick with his hero personality. And as for their third member, this was kind of hard, because there certainly are several memorable characters from Galro that we could choose. Hinata has her fan base. Gato has stuck around to appear in a few games beyond Galro. And when it comes to character interactions, I think either of Kim Capwan's sons would make great additions. But I feel like Bijane does the best job of capturing all these elements. She has her fans, people want to see more of her, and after Mark of the Wolves, she did manage to reappear in a couple KOF games, so she has proven that she has staying power. Plus, just speaking in terms of personality, I think she is the clear winner out of this bunch. She's a pirate and a happy-go-lucky thief. So if we're talking about characters that would have good interactions with other people on this roster, I think she is hands down the winner.
Check it out.
The exact same thing. It's just,
Dude, they showed it, dude. Dude, they showed it, dude. I was thinking, bro. Like, if you wanted to put butts there, like, it made more sense, because I was, like, giving it time, and I was just thinking about it during the explanation, right? This team is infinitely better when you think of it as an exact, like, mirror of the other team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it was Rock as, like, the iconic character from this game, that like has his popularity, but he started there, right? Opposed to Dudley, like a crazy grappler character from that game. Okay, Alex, right? Tizok. Okay, but then they have Janet and they have like Makoto. This is where they could have taken butts and put them versus there, like the hard hitting karate people. Dude, Makoto would definitely go toe to toe with that, 100%. It doesn't have to be a female character.
I think this is. I think they're seeing his bias. He wanted more Mark of the Wolves characters.
Literally, they copy and pasted the Mark of the Wolves team from King of Fighters 2003 that had B Janet, or B Janet, I guess, is that how you're supposed to say it? I guess. I don't know. That's what he said. Maybe he's smarter than me. That's what you get when you play a bunch of KOF games and you don't talk to anybody about them. Like, you don't play anyone in person, but like, yeah, Bijane, Tizok, and Gato were on a team together in, I think, KOF 2003, and it was called Mark of the Wolves team. You copy and pasted it, but he likes Gato the least, I assume, and Rock does need to be in this game.
Yep.
So yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, it's just like it's a shrug it off team in my opinion. But it's like, yeah, you got the characters.
Yeah.
You got so
what
we
I
win,
see from
I
this
guess.
now I'm seeing his bias. He really loves Mark of the Wolves. I love
yeah,
Mark of the Wolves too, but you know,
I like it's fine. If it is a big roster, it's 48 characters, according if he's doing what do you say like doing.
I just like he showed butts on the screen at the end there too.
Yeah. Yeah, it doing like I mean each company gets 8 teams of 3, so yeah, it's like the 48. I think I know math.
yeah.
So it's like yeah, there's gonna be a lot of characters, so it's not that oversaturated. But I just hope like I hope he's not like really big into freaking Last Blade or something. So there's like you got another 4 Last Blade characters or something.
Another chunk of Last Blade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like me some Last Blade.
Yeah, this is a personal list, and we're just commentating over a personal list. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be. He's probably gonna have a weapon team, so I would be interested in what he does for a weapon team.
Alrighty. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
From the darkest depths of the underworld, we are resurrected. We are mankind's worst nightmare, and only salvation. We are Dark Stalkers.
Don't mess well with any other team, I swear.
Team Night Warrior.
Ooh.
See, this might be the first time I'm like, don't. I mean, this
don't fit well with any other type of game. Like,
yeah,
there's a reason why they only bring Morgan, and she's the weirdest character in the roster too. With the weirdest
you play Morgan in a versus game that's like actually grounded. You feel like you're taking crazy pills.
Well, like this is why at the start I said like the mechanics matter because like yeah, you just can't just be putting characters wherever when they.
So there is a precedent for this. There is.
We're just we're just gonna assume the mechanics work out perfectly fine.
No. What he's saying is like specifically these characters might end up being handicapped because of that, just so they can work perfectly. Because like what I was gonna say is there is a precedent for this. And it's a little game called Capcom Fighting Jam, and that game is known for being an absolute joke, a jokey mess. Because the characters that are from Street Fighter 2, they play like Street Fighter 2, even though they're using the CVS sprites. Ryu
they don't switch
plays
groove.
like he's made out of.
They have grooves.
Yeah, Ryu plays like he has concrete in his legs.
Like the character is stuck in a specific groove.
Yeah, and that's like when you want to put a Darkstalkers character in a non-Darkstalkers game, you have to dance with the devil a little bit because, like, it's just the concept of playing a more so grounded or even like vertically weird SNK style game against Heisenko.
I am not looking at. I'm trying my best when I look at these teams. I'm not looking at their mechanics as much as possible. I'm just going to assume the mechanics are perfect and everything works out good. Everything's that they have their stuff. They have their things. I know how impossible that may be in some of the characters. I'm just assuming it all works perfectly fine and gels with it. But the tone on this team is
I'm also like I'm very
mechanics. I'm not taking any points away or positing any points with that.
That's fine and all, but like also, this team is just like it doesn't have like any sort of thing that binds them to like oh, this is almost Street Fighter or something like. This is nowhere close. They just took this game and they just injected it in here.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mess.
So
to be
here's the thing. The problem is with the game these guys are from, none of them work together, and they're all loners. Every single one of the characters are loners. Other than these three, these are the only three that possibly would work together.
Well, yeah, but like if you saw the last two teams, like it seems like they're like taking like stuff that like from these like franchises and like shooting in like iconic ones in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I don't know. It's one of
Morgan.
those. It's one of those things where I feel I've said this a bunch. I think more people want to talk about Darkstalkers than actually want to see or want to see the characters more than actually want to like have them. I guess like or play Darkstalkers. It's just a weird.
Well,
Actually, I'll toss that aside. Just the other thing, the guy wants to have character-to-character interactions. Yeah, you can have a bunch of characters go, real monsters, I guess. Like, this is more jarring than when, like, your boys at SNK randomly throw in a Samurai Showdown character, because Samurai Showdown characters, you might forget, are literally from the 14th century.
yeah.
Like the French Revolution's happening during much of Samurai Showdown. So like these guys are from the past. Nakaruru, when she shows up, she's from the past. When Haomaru shows up, he's from the past. But like, he's still a dude, you know? He's still like a dude. That's a dead woman, a cat monster, and a literal werewolf. It's a bit. It's a tone mess a little bit, and I don't understand how you're gonna have your fun character interactions unless everyone's just like, and then there's those guys, like, or just literally real monsters, and we move on. You're not getting much bang for your buck with this team, I don't think.
Well, we're gonna move on, but what's the weird question here? No Morgan.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to put Morgan on another team or something, but I don't understand.
We have Talbane, which he hasn't been in anything other than his game.
I don't like, from the outside looking in, like Felicia and Hysenko are popular characters that's shown up in other stuff, but Morgan is the most popular. I don't know why you wouldn't have a team.
It's whatever. It's whatever. Honestly, it's more like the last one. It was like a third strike injection, which is much closer to Street Fighter. This is a Darkstalkers injection, and it's much harder, much harder to justify.
It's my second COVID
you can
shot.
explain it, but it's gonna be a Darkstalkers.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have chosen a lot more. Like you could have had Felicia, Morgan, Dimitri, and everyone would have been like, that doesn't look as weird as dead woman with claws 8 feet across, you know? Like, or werewolf. I feel like you could have your Darkstalkers and not necessarily make it the weirdest looking thing in the game.
Oh well, he's gonna explain, but it's gonna be one hell of a
there's no messing around with this. This is it's what it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it.
There you go.
As I said, originally Morgan was the only Capcom character not from Street Fighter to be represented in this series. So it just makes sense to give the Darkstalkers their own team. But picking who to put on here was kind of a tough choice because, yeah, I'll admit I have some teams so far that are made up of characters who wouldn't really work together before, like Team Third Strike, but at least the characters on those teams are still willing to work with people. Most of the Darkstalkers are notorious for being loners, so I decided to start off with Felicia and John Talbane.
Exactly
Not only is Felicia one of the biggest and most recognizable faces in the series, and John Talbane is easily the winner of Capcom's Why Has This Guy Not Appeared in Anything Else award, being a massive fan favorite in the Darkstalkers series and yet sadly has not appeared in anything since those games. But also, these are two of the only characters in the series to canonically work together. So, if Felicia wanted to join this tournament and she needed teammates, she would of course go to John Talbane for help. Also, I'd love to see Talbane's exchanges with some of the SNK characters. Imagine him going up against T-Zoc, who is convinced that Talbane is another luchador and the wolf outfit is a super elaborate costume. Now, as for who would be their third team member, well, Felicia and Talbane are two of the heroic characters in Darkstalkers, so we need another hero, which automatically limits our choices quite a bit. Most Darkstalkers are either villains or at least chaotically neutral. But out of all the remaining heroic characters, I feel like Hisinko would be the most comfortable teaming up with these two. She's got a sense of honor that would line up with Talbane, but also she's got that sense of fun and wonder to her that would match with Felicia. Now, I know some of you might be wondering why I didn't pick Morgan, since she was the Darkstalker representative in the previous game. Well, because A, Morgan wasn't just the Darkstalker representative in that game, she's the Darkstalker representative in everything. If I have a chance in here to include other characters, I will gladly take it. And B, well, we're not done with the list just yet, and let's just say, I might still have some plans for Morgan down the line.
Here we go.
Well,
You got an ad to shoot. Anyways, whatever. I don't care. He went lore diving for Capcom this time.
yeah.
It's one of those things where I just think
Yeah.
it's just so random. It's just a
Moving on.
random team.
Yeah, just move on. You gotta shoot an ad.
Yeah, there's gonna be an ad coming at you live.
Oh boy, the polarizing Darkstalkers. I'm gonna get another ad. in a
Go.
second. Yay, ad. Gotta move my mouse.
Yes, sir. This is a canon thing. You can't change it. You can't change it, bro. They homie.
Team K-Dash.
Team K-Dash.
Yeah, you can skip the explanation. We good.
It's just.
Yeah, like I don't know, like who's gonna like,
It's one of those things where we've now switched it. We got like the way they were doing Street Fighter was just like, and that's the team. Makes sense. Boom. Let's move on. Like we went to we then went to Street Fighter or
like what are they doing? Okay, whatever.
Yeah, like, we're confused for Capcom, and then we go to SNK.
Now,
It's like, yeah,
now we got SNK teams. It's like okay, we can just skip, right? You know,
the entire Nest saga.
this team should have been. This team should have been like the other side of like the Metro City, like.
Yeah, that would be
Because this team is like easily like it's not like a front cover, but like it's like if you know about this, then you know. Like if you know
I
KO,
like that art
then
of
you
K-Dash,
probably
by the
know
way.
something.
I like that color. I like that art.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the entire Nest saga. There was a K-Dash team, sometimes called Hero Team at one point, and sometimes called Team Nest. But it's always this team existed for like literally since '99. I think this team has been there.
Yeah.
So
Whatever. Skip
Alright.
Next
So
team.
You want to just move on to the explanation?
Next team.
This team feels like it's almost mandatory to make up for the fact that somehow they missed out on being in the last game. As I said with Shune, King of Fighters changes its story and protagonist every 3 or 4 installments. And Kyo's story wrapped up in KOF 99.
Legitimately, I
King of
believe
Fighters
Max
99
would
was the
That's
Nest
one of the
Saga,
few grapplers
which was
I've
a
ever
story
played.
about a mysterious
Actually
organization
fun.
attempting to create an
He's
army of
whack as hell,
clones.
man.
Because that's just what you did back in the 90s. You made clones.
If you have a
The
full
hero of
screen
that
puncher,
story
probably
was
shouldn't have
K-Dash,
armor.
a
By the way.
mysterious man who had been experimented upon by Nest to gain flame power. Eventually, he broke free of Nest's control and was joined by Maxima, a cyborg soldier who also rebelled against Nest when he saw what the organization was doing to their test subjects, and Kula, a young child with ice powers who, despite her carefree, playful attitude, was basically Nest's secret weapon and even began as the big rival to K-Dash. Since their inception, they've gone on to be
the
one of the
back turn
biggest
combo.
and, no pun intended, coolest teams in the King of Fighters
You like the hot
franchise.
swaps?
And yet, as I said, no members of this team were in Capcom Vs SNK 2, despite the fact that the games starring K-Dash were coming out at the exact time that the last CVS came out. I say all the time that when you make a roster, you need to include the new hotness, again, no pun intended, and this guy was the new hotness during CVS 2.
You don't.
And
That's
they
not
just
proof
said,
that you didn't. 'Cause
nah, let's
nobody
just stick
was
with the
complaining
classics.
about this.
So yeah, we're going to correct that in this
'Cause people didn't even know
installment,
if they
and we're going to
liked him
include K-Dash, a man so awesome he attacks
Like
you
I
with
don't
his sunglasses.
name a person that
Kula,
actually cares
the
about
candy
shit
loving
that
ice
isn't like
princess,
caring
and
about it due to
Maxima,
mechanics.
the greatest Canadian fighting game character of all time. Suck it, Abigail.
Oh man.
I didn't know he was Canadian.
That's whatever. Nobody cares about Shine, except for Shine players that are afraid of losing their character to some mechanics.
It's not like this is what I'm saying. Like, like people weren't in love with K-Dash or the Nest saga yet. People didn't really know if they liked it. Hell, Benimaru was on Team K-Dash at one point too. They didn't have a solid team until like 2002, I think. So it's like, actually, I think Whip was on the team in 2002. Yeah, they just straight it's like not had a consistent team in forever. So like people, they weren't like a set thing. That's why they didn't show up. I don't know. I just don't agree with the guy when he's saying like, oh, you gotta have whatever's newest. It's nice to on a marketing level, not actually for the fans, because the fans don't even know how much they like that thing yet.
They don't know if they like it or not.
It is brand new. It's new. This is hot off the presses. We don't know.
Hello, young teens. Is this what the kids are into these days?
Like, you made it for them, but it doesn't mean they like it yet.
Character needs to grow on you.
Yeah. Not every time people would ask for the thing they already like than the new thing they might like.
But the team itself, K-Dash. Great.
Team makes sense. Team makes sense.
This is no need to talk about the team.
Yeah, the team's gonna be like this forever.
It has to be the way it is.
Yeah.
Except for me, like Whip is the only other one that's part of that saga that like maybe deserves a slot, and I don't think a person does.
Yeah, nobody's asking for Raymond to be back on the team. Nobody's asking for Vanessa to be back on the team. Nobody's asking for Shingo to be back on the team, or Lynn.
Yep, that has to be the way it is.
This is the team is set.
All right, moving on.
And are you ready for this?
Jin?
Bro, I thought this was cross tag opening. Wait, this is the cross tag opening.
Pause real quick. Cross Tekken had the sickest trailers.
Yeah, they're good. They're good trailers. There's big money put in that game.
Those trailers were.
Wish they put more money into like making the game actually like look good.
I love Cross Tekken.
Oh no, that's fine.
But those trailers are my absolute favorite thing about the game. Like that trailer in particular was sick. Good song, good choice, good action, looks awesome. Made me really get into it. Made me really want to play it.
Who's the other member of the team though? We were stopping on
it. You gotta be Balrog. Yeah. They gotta have the triple. Alright,
let me jump back into it. But that trailer, I love it. I love all 4 of those trailers.
This place shall become your grave!
Get the explanation.
Jesus Christ, the name.
I'll fight you on your own level!
Team Shadaloo.
Yeah.
Well,
skip the explanation.
This is one of those like, yeah, it'd be like this. The only possible other version of this team is drop Balrog and put the Capre. That's the only other version of the team that could be.
The next explanation.
Yeah, otherwise this team set in stone, got King to Shadaloo, original World Warrior bosses.
You can't really put Bison on a team without like something like this.
Yep. Alright, I'm just going on with the explanation.
This is another super obvious team.
Fuck you,
this has been the biggest villain team in Capcom fighting history.
You got
for us, it just happened to be a 3-person team.
Blocked that except
I know that some people right now will argue that's actually more than that.
I saw it. I
has
still
had
got hit
multiple
by
members
it.
over the years. But when you get down to it, these are the 3 that matter. Sure, there was Sagat, but he quit and went on the path of righteousness to help people. He wouldn't exactly team back up with this group of villains again. Then there's Junie, Julie, and all the other dolls, but they're not really distinct enough to warrant a slot. And then there's Fong.
You boy! I'll never forgive you! What? Intruders? I understand. I'll get back there right now! Hey, wait!
We will not be using Fong. So if you want a group that will represent the face of Shadaloo, it has been and always will be the 3 legendary kings, Boxer, Claw, and Dictator, aka Balrog, Vega, and M. Bison. I don't even feel like I need to keep explaining this one. It's another pre-establishing 3-person team, and it's incredibly important to the history of the company. Let's just move on.
Great!
Yeah?
That's such a fun super.
Yeah.
He stalled from the ground and he bounced up.
Yeah.
A fun super. Yeah, I love that one.
Fuck that super, man. People would just chuck it out, and it was just like, is this gonna cross me up, or is it gonna stay in front?
I just think it looks cool. I don't even care about the utility, but also.
Oh, it looks
jumping
cool,
up.
but I got hit by
I hate
that
fighting
super
Bison.
way too many
He looks
times.
cool a lot of the time. I hate fighting Bison. He looks cool. A lot of times he looks really cool. Hate fighting him though, but you know, he's a cool guy.
More
He's
importantly,
kinda cool.
should we have regular Bison or buff Bison?
What do you mean, regular Bison or buff Bison?
Bison.
Oh, you mean like the fucking the wide boy?
Guard Crush Super Bison.
Yeah, I think Bison. If you're gonna, again, like I always say,
Can
you
he
gotta
paint the fence in this game?
you gotta have like the ideal version of the character in my eyes. So make it the wildest, psycho crusherest, most ridiculous MF Bison you ever seen in your life, because the SNK side is gonna have like Rugal, Geese, maybe freaking like Kaiser, what the heck his name was?
Like the Guard Crush Super Psycho Crusher is not a game. It is not a move for this game.
Nah, I want him to be as crazy as possible.
That is, if Bison was in Marvel, he would mandatorily have that move.
Yeah. I don't know. I've
Other
always
last
just, like,
cosmetic question:
make the villains
classic
crazy.
Balrog or hoodie Balrog?
You don't use Buff Bison for this game.
No buff Bison.
I mean, like,
If he was in Marvel, you use Buff Bison.
I mean, I think this is a rare moment in which the Street Fighter V redesign of a character is better than any other version of the character ever. And Balrog's, the way Balrog looks in Street Fighter V is the best version of Balrog. It's perfect. It's perfect.
All right, I'll just move on since we had nothing much on this one. I just thought, hey, which version? All right.
Let me slap Vega's fucking face off, though. I don't want to do that.
I knew that groove was in your heart.
Baby.
Why? Why?
On this thing? Or
Team Women Fighters.
Why Habiki?
I hear the why.
Why? Explain.
no, it's because
Habiki.
women
Explain
fighters.
Habiki. Explain Habiki.
This is one where I legit think I differ from most people when it comes to like KOF. I actually really dislike the concept of woman team, just because I feel like it just like it's I mean, it's not like lame. It's just, or maybe lame's the perfect word. Maybe it's underwhelming because I feel like these characters could just be on a cool team. You don't need to just put the ladies together in one team. They didn't make KOF man team and put Kyo, like Terry and Rio together. It's like it's a weird thing where I feel like every time they do it, you could just make another team. You could just make another team, and I think they know it because again, they had Team Women team, then they had Super Babe team, then they had Heroine team, and recently we had another World team, which was another women team. You don't need to have women team; it just feels lame. There's nothing to it. It's just they're girls.
Yeah.
I don't really care about that. But like, why Habiki, dude? Like, she is like a slot that you could use to fit so many other teams, like a weapon team.
Yeah, that's all
like
I thought they're gonna do.
An extra slot for a Samurai Showdown team.
I'm just gonna say my guess is he's just
like
using a character because she's the new hotness right now.
She is not new hot. She's from Last Blade 2. She is not new hotness.
She's in the new game. She's the newest DLC character in Samurai Showdown.
Then put her on the Samurai Showdown team.
Yeah,
which you definitely are going to do.
Yeah, she would very easily fill out a Haomaru Nakaruru Hibiki.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. That's an easy.
The characters are already
clockwork.
I don't know. It was just my.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
it's specifically her.
It's a very strange team. It's not even like it's like one hero, and she's not. Athena's not even headlining this team, and she's the only main character in this team. This is a weird ass team.
Alright, well, let's see.
Yeah,
Another classic team in the King of Fighters series, and for our purposes here today, a very important team. Because originally, Team Woman Fighters was created by King when Mai couldn't join Team Fatal Fury, and Yuri couldn't join Team Art of Fighting, so she decided to put together her own team to show all the male fighters that they could be just as strong as they were. Why is that important to us? Because unlike many of the other teams on here that follow a specific theme and the members of those teams have to hit very specific requirements to join, to be part of Team Woman Fighters, you just have to be two things: a woman and a fighter. I mean, this is the perfect spot to put characters who needed to be in this game, but we couldn't figure out where else they should go. The leader would of course be King. She's been the head of this team since the start and has remained one of the most iconic SNK characters for almost 30 years now. Then after that, we'll include Athena Asamiya. Now, she was a tough one to pick because while she has a lot of fans, the people that don't like her really don't like her. Gee, I can't imagine why. But despite her haters, she's constantly ranked in the top 2 most popular SNK characters, and considering how many characters fans have to choose from, yeah, that really says a lot.
No, like every
so she does
group,
have a
just
strong
like
fan
almost
base,
every
and she
group
is an
destroys
iconic
that.
character for the company. But you know who doesn't have a strong
You got
fan
roles
base and
destroyed.
isn't iconic
Just
to the company?
You're actually
Her
healing.
teammates on Team
Like-
Psycho Soldiers. Yeah, old drunk man and kid who likes meat buns? Believe it or not, they don't really connect with the fans all that much. They're constantly ranked low on fan polls. Luckily, even though she's never been on Team Woman Fighters, she does meet the qualifications for it, so she'll be joined up for this round. And for the third spot, we're going to go with Hibiki Takane. For it, so they don't really connect with the fans all that much. They're constantly ranked low on fan polls. Luckily, even though she's never been on Team Woman Fighters, she does meet the qualifications for it, so she'll be joined up for this round. And for the third spot, we're going to go with Hibiki Takane, who, just like Athena, has never been a part of this team before, but unlike Athena, she doesn't even exist in the same universe as King and her team. Hibiki is from Last Blade, a completely different franchise, but we had to give Last Blade at least some representation on this list. Not only was it a critically acclaimed series back in the day, but also it was one of the first games that SNK implemented rollback netcode into, which brought in a modern day audience.
I've never seen a game where you just cut
and if I had to
somebody
pick just one character from that series to be in this game, I'd go with Hibiki. Out of all the characters from Last Blade, she's one of the only ones whose popularity has allowed her to survive beyond that game, as just recently it was announced that she was going to be coming to the new Samurai Showdown game as DLC. And she was even the Last Blade representative in Capcom Vs SNK 2, so yeah, she's the obvious choice, and as I said, there's a team sitting right here that she perfectly fits the criteria for.
This battle
That's
is
so
about...
unsatisfying that didn't kill.
It feels bad, man. It feels bad, man. It's just like one of those things where you're like, it's the brain of, I mean, Capcom vs SNK. Like, these characters are the best ones. It's like, you gotta also look at Neo Geo Battle Coliseum and stuff like that if you want to grab some stuff from
Shooting
SNK.
It didn't explain it good enough for me. Like,
No.
It's a whatever team. I think Team Women Fighters is always a whatever team.
Yeah, you already said it.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Yeah.
Alright, well, move on, I guess.
You also about to get an ad. Get ready for the white screen.
to explode.
Oh, and bam!
Team Tayo Academy.
How the heck did they find art for each of those characters from different games? If you look at that, that was specifically Shinkiro art from CVS 2.
Yeah. And
Tatsunoko versus Capcom art, and then
comes from the games Rival Schools and Project Justice.
Project Justice art. It's just funny. Like you have to try to find different art in
no,
those characters.
no,
I mean, he's been doing
they-
that with
they've been
everyone.
doing
Every
that.
single
Yeah.
character has a different art from
Yeah.
a different game.
Yeah, it's just for these characters, you'd think, because they have a bunch of art that where they're together. But yeah, they've been doing that. You're right.
Here's the first thing I remember, because, you know, Batsu, I don't pay attention to Batsu too much. I didn't realize he had a chainmail shirt underneath his thing.
Oh yeah, and it got and he has like the ninja metal connector on it. It's weird. He got a look. He got one hell of a look. That is a character only Capcom can make.
So Art of
Whatever.
Fight, well, for rival schools, this the team, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Like,
This is a perfectly logical team. There's only two choices you could have. You have you make a team that's like canon, or you like pick and choose characters that people would like. Like you would do like Batsu, Akira, and then like the freaking teacher or the boxer girl. Like
so
that. Those are the only. You have two options.
There's no other team that will fit this better.
No, like you put Batsu on there. I think it was crazy when they actually didn't put Batsu. So yeah, you do this or you do like a weird mishmash. But this has precedence in Capcom vs SNK. You remember doing the super where like all three of them come out?
Yeah.
And like, do you remember doing it in the corner and it doesn't hit? Like it doesn't combo if you do it in the corner?
I don't.
That super could drop like really easy.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a weird super, and they'll still do the animation. They'll still do the animation. They'll just whiff. Like Batsu be punching nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't remember that one. I didn't play. Tell you the truth, I didn't play too much of that. But I didn't play too much. I can't remember the guy in the white shirt. Can't remember his name. What's his name?
Yes,
Kyosuke. That's what. I didn't play too much of him. The Marcus, that's his favorite character in Capcom vs SNK 2.
Got one of the craziest fireballs. Like it's nothing really crazy about it. It just looks crazy.
Just weird.
Yeah, I like it. It's a smart man's fireball, you know.
Any thoughts before we move on for the exclamation? Yeah.
No. Next team.
Team Taiyo Academy. To a younger Capcom fan out there, this team might seem odd, but if you know, then you know. Taiyo Academy, the team made up of Batsu, Hinata, and Kyosuke, comes from the games Rival Schools and Project Justice. And when I put together one of these build-a-roster episodes, I love to throw around the term fan favorite as justification for why we should include a character. But I don't know if I have ever used that term with more fervor than I am using it right now. I love Rival Schools, so much so that we kicked off our new series fighting game retrospectives with almost an hour-long look back at the franchise. And I'm not alone in this. Fans of this series have been outspoken in their love for the games, begging Capcom to continue it on in one way or another, and after almost 2 decades of nothing, Akira Kazama, arguably the most popular character in the game, is coming to Street Fighter, meaning these characters will finally get to live on in one way or another. But Aaron, you ask, that's all well and good, but just because people like these characters doesn't mean they would fit in here. Does Rival Schools fit the insane set of rules that you established at the beginning of this episode? Rival Schools fits the format of this hypothetical game that I'm putting together better than probably any other Capcom game I'm including. As I said, I'm making Capcom Vs SNK 3, a game made up of 3 character teams, because not only does that match the theme of the previous games, but it also serves as a celebration of the team-based format of King of Fighters. You know what other fighting game series relied on a 3-person team layout? Rival Schools. The first game, Rival Schools, include 3-person teams to represent each of the schools. However, because of hardware limitations at the time, you could only pick 2 characters to play as. But then in Project Justice, you could now pick all 3 characters at once. There is no way we can put this roster together without at least including 1 team from that game in here. And as I said, Akira is arguably the most popular character in the game, but she's already getting into Street Fighter. Let's use this chance to give some screen time to some other characters, and the most obvious choice is Taiyo Academy's team. Not only was Taiyo High the protagonist team of the game, meaning they're the best choice to be the face of the franchise, but Kyosuke was even in the last Capcom vs SNK. Heck, he wasn't just in the game, they put him right on the cover. So bringing him back will be a good way to link this game to the last.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That would drop. That would drop in the corner. Because they wouldn't push you out of the corner properly. Yeah, no, it's whatever.
It's simple.
Team how it is.
Next team.
Yeah.
Move on.
武士道とは死ぬことと見つけたり、修羅道とは倒すことと見つけたり。
Really good.
我、悪鬼羅刹となりて、目の前の敵すべてを切る。お前さんが相手かい。泣きを見ても知らねえぜ。
Darlie!
Team Samurai Showdown.
I feel like Darley's just stapled on there. Hibiki could have been there. Like,
I'm gonna take my bias and say I do like Darlie.
Well, yeah. I mean,
she's a light character. It's just, yeah.
She's kind of stapled on here. She fits less than Hibiki would. That's the reason.
I do. This is one of those things where I do have to look at the game like, would I want to fight it? Because like I already don't like fighting Nakaruru. Haomaru, when he shows up, my man does half your life because he pressed the heavy punch button. So like you already gotta look at how these games work together. Darlie is like you want to fight that in Street Fighter? like a half-screen Buster Sword? I don't know about it. She's a character I wouldn't even think about just because of the design ethos I would have to go through just to be like, yeah, we're just gonna have this one character that's gonna slash across the screen with a disjoint, and it does half your life. It's like Dawson, but you die.
It wouldn't do that though.
Yeah, like it would have to not.
It wouldn't do that. Yeah, like it just wouldn't do it.
It would. That's what I'm saying. It would have to not. But like it's not a character I would choose because of that. Would you handicap the character so they do not represent how they normally would, or you put them in and just like deal with the consequences? This is a team that I think is like. I think it's a little whack.
It's just the team is like.
Yeah. The team.
This is exactly where Hibiki would go. I'm just saying.
I actually more so would be down the clown with like a weapons team, just called weapons team, more than I would be like the normal women's team. Like I think the weapons team would be like, yeah, works, makes sense. Or another world team, talk about how they're not from the past, but like the weird future girl from the pachinko game and with the sword. I don't know. You can do whatever. I think it's just like Samurai Showdown team is like, yeah, you could consolidate.
Yeah, but we know
I'm interested.
Why they chose them.
The only person I would not have on this team is Nakaru, but that's just me personally. I'm not a big fan of Nakaru at all, but she's got to be there, so she's got to be there.
But it definitely seems like we're done doing teams that would have a lore reason that they would be together. It seems like we're just far departed from that now.
Yep, probably. I mean, well, first off, Samurai Showdown wouldn't appear at all if you wanted lore with that.
Well,
it's Nakaruru and Homaru, at least thematically, similar.
Yeah.
It's like
Miki would be thematically similar to those two as well. Darlie is not thematically similar to these two.
Yeah.
She's just from the same.
I assume he's gonna do the same thing. Where it's like, oh well, these Haomaru and Nakaru were previous in the previous game, and we have to have something to shout out to the new stuff. And this character's here. She's very popular, and that's assuming it's exactly what he's about to say.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly.
That's the only way you could justify this.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's the way you can justify it.
So far, when it comes to SNK, I've mostly been focusing on King of Fighters characters because A, it's kind of SNK's biggest fighting game franchise, and B, since King of Fighters itself is a crossover game, it literally consumes every one of the other fighting game franchises from SNK. Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, it all exists within the King of Fighters universe, so even if I pick characters from other SNK franchises, it means I'm picking King of Fighters characters. except for Samurai Showdown. This is the one corner of their universe that
Lucio
still
probably
remains
would be
its
a better
own
addition.
thing.
That character has 10.
Well,
it's clean.
mostly.
Like
I mean,
Josuke.
Nakaruru was in King of Fighters 14, but she was on Team Otherworld, so even though she was in that game, her entire premise was that she was still separate and from another world. And listen, that's not important. Point is, it's time to talk Samurai Showdown. It's one of SNK's longest running franchises, and its most recent installment from 2 years ago has actually gone on to be one of the company's highest selling games of all time. Heck, I'm shocked it took me this long to get to this team. They're that important. Now, to begin with, there's the two most obvious bits. Halmaru, the protagonist of the series, the Blade Master himself, and the intended face of the franchise. Then there's Nakaruru, the actual face of the franchise. Yeah, the little falcon-wielding priestess has gone on to appear in more promotional material for the company than any other Sam Show character. And when SNK had to come back from near death and revive themselves with King of Fighters 14, they decided to finally put a Sam Show character in here, knowing it could possibly be the last time any of these characters could be seen. So who was the character they chose to represent the series? Not Halmaru, I'll tell you that. So Halmaru and Nakaruru are obvious choices, but who would be our third character? Well, I did consider putting Galford in here. Him and his dog Poppy are pretty fun characters, and with their strong sense of justice, it would be fun to pair him up against characters like Kim. Plus, when King of Fighters was first created in '94, they did actually consider making a Team Samurai Showdown with Halmaru, Nakaruru, and Galford as the team, so putting all three of them together could be a fun reference to that. But right now, this roster is full of way too many classic characters. We need some fresh blood. We need some big recent additions to the company. So I am going with Darlie Dagger. She was introduced in the latest installment of the game, and to say she blew up is, well, a bit of an understatement. People love this character. Her design, her attitude, her massive saw blade, the fact that her victory pose is just her chugging a giant barrel of alcohol. All of it came together to make her a breakout star, and she definitely deserves to be a Samurai Showdown representative in this game. Alright, there's only one more team for Capcom, and so far I've been pretty basic. I've been choosing teams that make sense. Everyone is sticking to their own franchises and teaming up with characters that they're naturally associated with. But we need at least one weird team. We need that team that mixes and matches to create a crazy combo to really stand out. So for our final Capcom team, I am grabbing characters from all over the place to create something brand new. Fight!
It looks like he's just grabbing shit now.
Yeah.
Alright.
I think I'll let you die before you know what hit you. How does that sound? Yeah, time to make some cash! That felt good, didn't it?
Team Fatale.
Yeah, that's fine.
When you say I'm gonna make a team where I just throw everything at the wall. Yeah. Yeah. Like this is a funny thing. Remember when I said right at the start, I was like, I would love to see some characters where they kind of go outside of the thing. Outside of having a team that's just a fat Darkstalkers group, they didn't actually do that at all. Like, it might to put again, we're not breaking any new ground by having a rival school character. I mean, like those characters that these games have been connected forever. Like we already had Morgan in the last game. Like having Final Fight reference, that's always there. It's actually really fun. I was like, man, if you're gonna deep cut somewhere, this is like a deep cutless kind of roster, honestly. It's not even, they didn't even deep cut out of Street Fighter. Like, it didn't like because even Capcom Vs SNK 2 had Eagle. It's a Street Fighter 1 character.
Yeah, that is a deep.
That's a Street Fighter. That's a deep cut. That's a Street Fighter 1 character. That's like putting what's his name, Geki. That's like putting Geki in the game. That's like putting Joe from the opening cutscene in the game. Like that's a deep cut. This Capcom roster is deep cutless. It is without a single "ooh damn" like character. I actually, it's just like, yeah, Sort of. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Also, is Kyle just not in the game?
What?
Is there no charge characters in this game?
Oh damn! I just realized there's no charge characters.
No charge characters. We have charge characters. So we have the bad guys. We have Bison and Balrog.
The very first character was Chun.
Oh yeah, and Chun-Li. Yes, and Chun-Li.
Well,
but I'm just like, I mean, like, there's no like purely charge characters. I guess. I mean, you could call those characters purely charged characters. I guess, yeah. I don't know. It's just funny. Like, there's no Guile, no Charlie, no Cammy. You know, that sort of thing. It's weird. Interesting.
For this final team, I want a collection of characters who had never worked together, but still fit a unifying theme. So that way, we could really take advantage of this 3-person crossover format. And they need to be characters that were popular. Characters who were big faces for the company. Characters that when you look at them, you think of Capcom. And so, after many possible lineups, no, I'm not kidding, I came up with about 24 different possible teams for this final spot, and I seriously could have kept on going. So after all that brainstorming, I came up with a team of Morgan, Jury, and Poison to create Team Fatale. When it comes to popularity and name value, yeah, these 3 obviously fit the bill. Morgan is the face of Darkstalkers and has continued to live on as a major Capcom icon ever since that series ended. Heck, I had to not put her on Team Darkstalkers just so that other characters could finally get a minute on stage without her butting in and taking all the attention away from them. Then Jury is arguably the most popular new Street Fighter character from the last 2 generations of that game, and Poison started out as nothing but a random jobber in Final Fight, but built up such a fan following that they had to import her into Street Fighter just to keep her alive. So all 3 of them are big deals. But would they form a team together? I can totally see it. Morgan has always been about wanting to go down to the human world and have fun and start some mischief, so if she heard that there was a fighting tournament, I could see her wanting to sign up. But if she needed 2 teammates, then she would more than likely pick some humans to join her since, well, her credit with some of the other members of the Royal Demon family isn't so great. Dimitri and Jetta probably wouldn't want to sign up with her. So she would seek out humans who would have the same sadistic sense of entertainment that she does. Humans who have that same drive to take what they want and find great pleasure in doing it. And to me, that perfectly fits the crazed revenge-seeking Cheshire Cat Jury and the money and fame-hungry Poison. I can see this team butting heads amongst themselves, then drawing great pleasure from messing up anyone in their path. Plus, they even kind of have the same color scheme going for them. They might as well already be wearing Team Letterman jackets. And that brings us to the final SNK team, and I feel like we need a team that can match Team Fatale in tone. We've got a lot of heroes on the SNK side so far, but let's include a couple of anti-heroes, a couple of chaotic neutral characters. Characters who would serve as good, what's the word?
It's not too late.
Well, it's getting late, so we're just going to start plowing through these a little bit more.
Team Rivals.
Well, yeah, we got him in here.
Iori just should have had his own team, question?
Yeah, I actually think
he should have definitely, like, this is a waste then. I thought he was gonna get, like, I almost forgot that he wasn't on the front cover team. Because I was expecting the front cover team to be Kyo, Iori, and Mai. Right?
So, like, what he's harping on here is the Rivals team that did exist in, like, 95. Like, Iori, Billy Kane, and the ninja from Art of Fighting were on a team. But, like, I actually think just regular Team Yagami actually fits this bill way better. If you want to have praised people.
Well, no. Yeah, well, actually, I originally said it.
Yeah,
you could have just taken Iori, put him on that team, and it would have been more iconic. And then taken Mai, put it on that, and then like all the teams that actually used Iori and Mai, they just didn't need them. They just didn't need them. Like they were better put on the front cover of that. Instead, we got like Team Hero with Benimaru and Shun'ei? Question mark? And then that's what they used Mai and Iori for. That was a waste. Those is misplaced characters.
I don't know.
This team could have been Rugal, Vice, and Mature.
Yeah, it is funny. There's only bad guys on the Capcom side. These guys aren't even bad guys. They're just kind of dicks. Like Billy Kane's a bad guy when Geese when Geese gives him money to be a bad guy. Iori's a bad guy because he just really doesn't like Kyo.
Yeah, like Rugal is probably the only person that could even think of maybe like possibly posturing as like the mirror image from like a SNK game to fight Morgan. The only person that could maybe think of posturing that, and then you have two sadistic characters from the.
That could handle because I skipped it at the beginning of his video, but just to let you know, and I didn't tell you on purpose because just to see the teams in general, he has these chaotic teams, but just like in Capcom vs SNK, there's boss characters.
Yeah.
There's so many boss characters. There's so many boss characters from King of Fighters.
But
just give Rugal his team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, when I was saying that, I was like, they should just have some bad guys around the roster too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know they're gonna have the big bads. Like, they got it. If they don't, that's weird. Like, who the fuck are you gonna fight in the end?
And Rugal has regular forms and a boss form. So like, and he looks totally different, and he does different things as boss.
Yeah, he looks totally different. They could even take like Omega Rugal from like the other KOF games. You know, like where he has the big mustache, the one like cyber eye, and he's wearing the freaking tight black like sleeveless shirt.
The purple one, no, Omega Rugal is actually too OD.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different Rugals you could. I just feel like they could have did something different here.
Well, they kind of do the same, but like they could just take like one
explanation, and we'll continue on in just a minute.
Yes, if you're an SNK fan, then I'm sure this entire time there's been one name that you have been searching for. Don't worry, there is no way I could leave out one of the most legendary anti-heroes in fighting game history. The Flame of the End himself, Iori Yagami, will indeed be storming his way back into this game, and he's bringing back his original team from King of Fighters, at least the name of it. Yes, over the last few King of Fighters games, Iori's paired up with Mature and Vice, and while these two have their fans, they really only work well in a pair. It feels unfair to split them up, even though they did that exact thing in the previous CVSs. But at the same time, if I include both of them, it feels almost like a waste of a spot since both of them have such similar personalities. So instead, we're going all the way back to King of Fighters 95, Iori's first appearance where he popped up specifically to be Kyo's rival, so much so that his team in the game was literally called Team Rivals. He paired up with Billy Kane, who was meant to be a rival to Terry Bogard, and Aiji Kisaragi, who was meant to be the rival to Ryo. And over the years, Billy Kane has remained a pretty prominent face for SNK, so he'll be sticking around. But Aiji has kind of dropped off the face of the earth. So we need a new third rival, and when it comes to SNK, that means another character with red hair. Don't know why that's a theme for the company, it just apparently is. And when you look at SNK's landscape for a good rival, the clear winner is Genjiro Kibagami, the brutal swordsman from Samurai Shodown who fights only for the joy of killing. Not only is he a major icon for the franchise, but with his cold blood and intimidating nature, he's probably the only character who could join this team who could stand face to face with Iori and not even flinch. And that brings us to the end of our regular roster. We now have a total of 48 characters, 24 on each side, but more importantly, 16 teams in order to take one of the themes of the previous CVS games and expand it to the next logical step. But we're not done yet. No, as I said, there would also be a few bosses, both from Capcom and SNK, just like in the previous games. But there wouldn't just be regular bosses. No, as I said, this game would take inspiration from the structure of King of Fighters, and a staple of that series is not just to have bosses, but mid-bosses as well. Yes, typically in King of Fighters, you get all the way to the end. You fought all your opponents, then you go up against the big boss, only to then learn that there is actually an even bigger boss right behind them. So for this game, we'll not only have 2 final bosses, one from both companies, but 2 sub-bosses right before them. And since this is a tradition with SNK, let's go ahead and start with their representative.
I didn't warn you on that one.
Wait a second. A new opponent has interrupted the tournament.
They picked this game. Dog, Silver?
Silver. Before I go any further, let me just say, yes, I am aware of what a far out of left field obscure pick this is. Silver has only had 2 appearances ever. Once as the final boss of Baruki 1, a super rare mixed martial arts fighting game that was only ported to the dead Neo Geo 64 console and is so complex and hard to run, it's next to impossible to even emulate the freaking thing. And later as a secret character in King of Fighters 11. So yeah, not exactly a household name. However, I still have to put my foot down and demand he gets put in here as a sub-boss because, well damn, this guy is just too cool. Not only does he look like if the sensei from Cobra Kai just went out into the wilderness and punched mountains until he went insane, but his entrance is legendary. In Baruki 1, you make your way through a tournament, and when you finally reach the end, when you come to the Grand Championship, this mystery man just breaks down the doors, takes out the guy you were supposed to fight, flies into the ring, and then when you beat him, he just flies off without a word or a hint of what he was all about. That's just badass, and the fact that SNK isn't doing more with him is practically a crime. So yes, we are going to bring him back as our sub-boss, but there's one more reason why I'm picking him, because our Capcom sub-boss is going to be...
Okay, we know who this is, but
Yeah.
do y'all know anything about Baruki 1?
No. I literally only know him as the character from King of Fighters 11. I assume he was the character from King of Fighters 11.
That game, alright, it plays the silliest you could possibly play. It uses a unique play style where you use the buttons to move and you use the stick to attack.
So you're just quapping. Okay.
Yeah,
whatever.
you kind of quapping, but it's so weird and it's so complex to do moves. But here's the thing: the animation is smooth when you do it. But that game is so fucking weird, and it's such a total Baki. Like that's literally it was possibly the Baki video game. The main character looks exactly like Baki, and you know who he's supposed to be emulating.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it came out for the Neo Geo 64,
yeah,
that means that like that's around the same. No, actually, no. It would be like
it's an arcade game.
It would be like
foremost.
It'd be like 7 years, and then Arc System Works would make the Baki fighting game.
Wait a minute.
That
They
game
have
is
Bison.
wacky.
They have Bison as one of the characters. Man.
Yeah, that's why I think it's weird. Bison is a character.
They have a Bison as one of the just like regular characters, not presented as a boss. So you can totally use Rugal and Vice with them.
Yeah.
And that could have been countered to Shadow League.
Yeah.
Possibly.
My fists bleed death. Welcome to your doom.
Akuma. Yeah, you might have heard the description of Silver's entrance and thought to yourself, wow, that really sounds like Akuma. Well, you're not wrong. Many people have drawn comparisons between the two, both wandering malicious murderers who look for strong opponents to fight, both of them very mysterious figures, both of them have intros where they take out the guy that you were supposed to fight. Yeah, they're practically parallel universe versions of each other. So I say we put these two in here as the sub-bosses. And you know how one of the best things about the last CVS was the character interactions, where certain characters would have specific lines or actions between each other before a match? I say, if you have Silver and Akuma face off, they both slide in from opposite sides of the screen, meet in the middle, everything goes black as a series of blows covers the screen, then they both appear with their backs to each other, unfazed and ready for the real fight. Just the idea of that scene makes me want to put them both in here. And I know some people will say it's unfair to bump Akuma down to being a sub-boss since he was one of the 2 big bosses of the last game, but we can't just copy and paste the same bosses. We need to spice things up a little bit. That being said, yeah, it's not like we can just leave Akuma out of this. He's too big to ignore, and I highly doubt the ultimate loner would be willing to join anyone's team. So yeah, making him a sub-boss is kind of really the only place we can find for him. But if Akuma is just a sub-boss this time, then who are our 2 new bosses? Hyo Imawano. If you have a Street Fighter character as the sub-boss, I can't exactly repeat that with just another one as the main boss. I know Gil seems like such an obvious choice, but I wanted to stretch our range a little further. So I grabbed Hyo Imawano from Rival Schools, a deadly swordsman who uses brainwashing technology to try and take over Japan. Yeah, if that's your MO, I could totally see someone like that trying to use a fighting tournament full of the strongest people in the world to his advantage. And if you watch the King of Fighters Destiny anime, then you know that brainwashing technology being used by the person running a tournament within an SNK game is actually kind of a semi-canonical thing. So it just kind of makes sense to have him slide in here. Heck, we could even have something in the arcade ladder or the story mode where the final team you face before the bosses would have special evil color schemes and red eyes, implying that they're under his mind control. And when it comes to his playstyle, not only do his swords provide him with crazy unfair range, but also he is insanely fast. So while most final bosses are just overload with physical strength, I want to balance things out a bit. So let's say that the upcoming SNK final boss is going to be a pillar of muscles, and Hyo is going to focus on speed. Also, as I said, Hyo came from Rival Schools, a series that was created by Hideaki Itsuno, the same mastermind behind the Capcom Vs SNK series, which would probably explain why a Rival Schools character was on the box of the last game. So even though Mr. Itsuno would probably not be returning for this game, I'd still love to include one of his biggest baddies as the final boss in here as a tribute to this legendary creator. And that leaves us with just 1 character left.
Any thoughts about him?
Yeah, it's Omega Rugal with the cyber eye and the purple jacket. Yeah, I mean the purple thing with the little fishnets at the end, bro. It's him. I mean, it's literally the hardest SNK boss ever created, pretty much.
I think it's like kind of weird that they got Hyo. I think he's like such a weird pull because he was trying to brainwash like students. He was trying to uprise Japan through the youngest generation. So now we're just gonna go after the strongest people, I guess. It's an interesting choice. I don't know. It's one of those things where they could like when he lampshades that like Gil would be like an obvious choice. It not only is the obvious choice because like it would like make sense. If you're not gonna have Akuma be Shin Akuma, then just put the leader of the Illuminati. Like he has big money, he could run a tournament, a million different reasons, and like, and if the next one is Rugal versus Gil sounds fucking amazing. But yeah, I don't know.
This is gonna be weird.
I mean, but they could have done good. I think Gil's better, but whatever.
Yeah, he's going for deep cuts, but these are like shallow cuts, in my opinion.
Shadow cuts.
No, I think they're decent. It's just like there's nothing wrong with picking like the appropriate choice.
Yeah, if people expect it, it's not bad.
It's not like Gil is so overused that people are just like Gil again. Like he's been playable in 1 game.
Let's see what this last SNK choice is.
Bro, if it's not Rugal, something
that
happens.
should be a deepest cut ever in the world.
Well, it's not even gonna be a deep cut because all KOF bosses are like iconic because everyone hates them.
Like if it's gonna be a Garo boss, I'm gonna laugh. If it's a Garo boss, I'm laughing.
If it's not Omega Rugal, he's true.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And boy, were there a lot of great choices we
just
could have
wants other
gone with.
people in there. He's just
But
trying
in
to
the
be
end,
different, bro.
only one SNK character truly felt large and in charge enough to be worth the title, Final Boss.
Show me the purple die. Show him spinning on you, die. Oh, was it geese? Geese. Then you really should have, people.
Bring it on. I'll destroy you all.
Geese Howard. Or should I say, Geese? Yes, one of the greatest villains in video game history has to be in this game. And as the big final wall you must face before you become the champ, seems like the perfect spot for him. Some people might be shocked to see him getting upgraded from regular fighter in the last game to the big boss. And I will admit, I was tempted to put him on a team with Billy Kane and some of his other subordinates to be the SNK mirror to Team Shadaloo. But end of the day, Geese Howard just felt too important to not be some big grand presence in this tournament. With his malicious attitude, his overflowing bravado and ego, his immensely passionate attacks such as the Raging Storm.
He spins on you while laughing, dude.
1 second though, that combo was sick. What was that?
It's one of those things where like he's lampshading it really hard, but like
too important to not be some big grand presence in this tournament. With his malicious attitude, his overflowing bravado and ego, his immensely punishing attacks such as the Raging Storm, the Rapukin, and of course the dreaded Double Rapukin, all accompanied by one of the best theme songs in fighting game history, you better believe we're going to make Mr. Howard the big threat in this game. Now, as I said, those are your mid-bosses and your final bosses. However, if you are familiar with the last game, you might be expecting something right now. Something coming after the two final bosses, two secret bosses. What I'm referring to is that moment in CVS 2 where after you beat your final opponent, if you got a high enough score, then the sky would darken, lightning would crack, and then the two regular bosses in the game, Rugal and Akuma, would appear above you, charging at each other with bloodlust in their eyes as they engage in combat, and only one would appear victorious, absorbing the power of the other to become a brand new monstrous opponent. This was easily one of the most hype moments of any fighting game from this generation, and I would love to recreate that here. But we do need to make it different. I was very tempted to have Geese come back as the supercharged Nightmare Geese, and Hyo come back as the possessed Demon Hyo, but then we're just repeating ourselves, and some of the surprise is taken away. I want to keep the idea of you unlocking a super crazy secret boss if your score is high enough, but we need to change it up a bit. So here's my pitch.
I mean, your ratio 1 versus ratio 4.
And that means that you get to go on and fight the final boss, but if your score is high enough, then when you arrive at the championship, you look up and you see Geese Howard falling down from his tower and crashing right into the middle of the ring, beaten to within an inch of his life. Your team looks up to see the sky open up, and down comes the true boss you have now unlocked.
What? Why this person? Why this person? What? That's a deep cut. Well, not a deep cut, but like, why this?
Neo Dio. Neo Dio might be a more obscure SNK boss, but he has a lot going for him. First off, he's a deranged entity that travels through time to find strong opponents to fight, meaning it would make sense for him to show up in here if you got a high enough score. Congratulations, you have now proved yourself throughout this tournament. And because you've now proved yourself, you've gotten the attention of this evil entity from beyond space and time. Also, he's from a lesser known but still very fun SNK series, World Heroes. Why is that important? Because World Heroes was all about a scientist who creates a time machine to bring strong contenders from different eras together to fight each other. And I know someone out there has been asking this whole time, okay, I know you say that there aren't realities opening up in here and that everybody comes from the same world, but you've got Samurai Showdown characters in here. How are you bringing fighters in from the past? Well, if Neo Dio is in here, bam, you just say it was the World Heroes time machine, done. And lastly, and the most niche reason for including him, Neo Dio's name is half a pun on the Neo Geo game console, and on Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and his design was heavily influenced by the works of JoJo's creator. And what company made the legendary 2D JoJo fighting game that still sees tournament play to this day? Capcom. I would love for some of the Capcom characters to have unique lines before the match with Neo Dio,
Like, that sounds
where they just
really
make
good, but
very
it's a
vague
weak reason.
JoJo references, just for that one hardcore Capcom nerd out there who would get it. Also, I should point out that Neo Dio can turn into a dragon, and that just makes him cool. I don't write the rules, it just does. But that's if you get a high enough score and you're...
That is a really, really deep cut there.
They were, I believe they were a Neo Geo Battle Coliseum too.
But like
it's just, it's like one of those. I think, why are we doing the Neo Geo Battle Coliseum reference now? Like Jesus, it's like I thought he just didn't know that game existed, but now he's gonna reference it.
I can't believe Iori was almost left, and Rugal was left. That's crazy.
You're using an...
I'm gonna spoil something for you. I did see a little bit of this, and I'm gonna ask y'all at the... Well, I'm just gonna ask you at the end. Hold on.
SNK group.
Finish
What
this
about
up.
if you're using a Capcom group? Well, we already have a villain who travels through time looking to conquer strong foes. So how about someone that travels through space?
The Earth needs a ruler. If Pyron is needed, Pyron it shall have.
Pyron. Yes, we're swapping one amorphous intergalactic god for another. Pyron used to be one of the biggest final bosses in fighting game history, but he was from Darkstalkers, and Capcom is currently doing everything in their power to keep that game from coming back, so putting him in here as the true secret boss is about as good as we're going to get. Plus, he's one of the few Capcom final bosses that really fits the theme of an SNK final boss. By which I mean he appears out of nowhere, overflowing with energy, and he spams the entire screen constantly with... How should I phrase this delicately? Oh right, crazy bullshit. Yeah, SNK bosses are kind of known for teleporting everywhere, firing waves of energy blast non-stop, and being super aggressive, and Pyron fits that to a T. But there you have it, no more surprise.
That's what I like. When they said Neo Dio, I was assuming it was gonna be Pyron because again, Neo Dio, final boss of Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, like big boss Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, big deep cut reference. Pyron, final boss of Capcom Fighting Jam. Yeah. They're the same games. They're the same game, different companies. So it's like, yeah, fine. I don't agree on their actual bosses. It's not actually that. It's not very impactful. The sub bosses are more impactful than the final bosses, and I like Geese as much as the next guy. It's just Geese isn't that big of a deal.
You'd rather have Rugal than Geese.
Yeah, when you look at KOF, you know how many fucking final bosses Geese is in KOF? Like he sponsored one tournament, the first one. He never was good because they always made up a new, better bad guy.
Ian? Hey, Ian said that. Ian just liked the stream.
There's always a better bad guy when it comes to SNK. Like Geese is amazing. That's why he's always there. But for the biggest, craziest bad, SNK has a million.
I think it's fine. I think Geese is there is fine. It's just if he's there, then you can throw Rugal somewhere because there's no way he misses this. Right.
Yeah, it's actually really weird because he was like, remember what he was saying about Team K-Dash? He's like, man, it's crazy how they didn't reference like K-Dash because he was really popular on this time. You know who was really popular on that time? Rugal. Like Rugal. You got like that's why the Rugal was there. Rugal's big stuff, big ish. He was, I don't know. It's weird. I don't. They didn't even have to like have Rugal. Even I think they could have did like a big Orochi boss, such as Orochi, or whoever the hell that boss was from 2001, or like Ash Crimson, or some other Orochi connected boss, or a Nest connected boss, or something like that. rather than
So you rather have that
the
than
Fatal Fury. Yeah.
Is this the final roster right here?
Okay. Yes, this is what I want to talk to you about because it is getting late, and I don't know want to keep y'all much longer unless you want to. He has more, and he has planned this is the DLC. What he has in seasons as a DLC roster, that being the full roster, but this is the initial roster of the game.
You're saving Rugal for DLC, bro?
I'm like, when it comes to a versus game, I feel like you got to have a real Diesel launch roster.
Yeah,
like
that's what I wanted to talk to you about. How do you feel about this as the initial roster?
I feel like you can take the characters, like all these characters that are in here, you could take them and then just like put them on scrap teams for a DLC, like this character select can be bumped over, so it has one extra person, and you can have like a hot swap member that can be added.
Which also, since another thing he talked about, once he gets the DLC done, he's going to talk about it more, but we're not going to watch that part. It's the kind of the thing you were complaining about. Once the DLC is added, there is hop swaps for the teams. There are you can still pick the Mark of the Wolves team, and you pick Terry, Rock, and other person with Marco, and you'll have a canonic Mark of the Wolves team, or things like that, and it still is that way.
But I mean, I can just say what about this roster, and then I'll dip, and then I'll dip. But like they got like that immediately. I have a problem with the first SNK team. Take Benny Morrow out. Maybe you can put him somewhere else with like any sort of Team Japan or whatever. Like that didn't make it. Like almost the entire Team Japan. And then you could take Shun'ei out, and you could have him on a DLC team. He's pretty much a straight character anyway. Like he's like even on his team in the games, he's a straight character. Like those teams are
supposed to be the face character.
Yeah, but does his team make sense? Question mark. Not really, other than they have superpowers, I guess. But and then so like you get rid of that. Like I'd immediately take put it on that team to counteract that. I'd immediately take Iori and put it over there. I'd put that Rugal Vice mature team over there. Butts would replace B Janae, and then like you put Robert Garcia. And then you could put like Bijane with any sort of like extra Mark of the Wolves team if you would like. You could like put any sort of iconic other like Team Japan character on there, or like some other person from Fatal Fury. Like with Terry, like you could do like a lot of things. I'd move Hibiki over there instead of Darlie Dagger, and then you could put like Alice, for example, on that team instead. And it would be just fine.
Yeah, it's not. So your main beef is mainly with the SNK side.
Yeah, the SNK roster, like it has a lot of patchwork on it, and the Third Strike team is kind of put together. The Darkstalkers team, quite frankly, could just be almost anything else. Like
I actually think the game doesn't lose anything by losing that team.
If this team got deleted, it would feel just as complete.
Yeah, Ian, there's some rival school characters in here too. Yeah, you caught in at the very end, but yeah, Ian's in the chat.
You can see the whole team. You can see the whole roster though.
You can literally delete that team because they have Morgan in that Fatale team, and that's all you need from Darkstalkers. Like, there's a reason why they only put Morgan in.
That hurts so many people's hearts right there.
The thing is, it hurts so many people's hearts, but guess what? Those people didn't buy Darkstalkers Resurrection HD Collection on the Xbox 360. Because if they did, we would have a new Darkstalkers game. Like, we already know nobody bought that game. We already know. We already know it. It's already set in stone. The past is the past, and the game, I'm pretty sure, delisted. So like it's like one of those things. Or there's a lot more bark about how much people like Darkstalkers and not a lot of like action. You know, I don't know.
And
I
actually,
don't think
there's a rival schools team and a rival schools boss down there. He is a sub boss down there at the bottom next to Akuma. He was asking about the rival schools connection in this game.
I actually like don't mind it. I actually think I guess it's like a little weird because I almost think like Akuma's like really sick though. It's like he's almost like you would want him to be a sub boss. I guess he's not that intense to me, but maybe he would be more intense in this game. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he was intense.
He is supposed to be the final boss in that game, and he was pretty intense. He was a regular character in a powered up form.
It's just weird. All right. So when you look at this roster, you have to say the phrase "Bison below the guy that wants to take over most of Japan's schools." You know, because Bison's just a dude on this roster. He's just there. He's beside, like, Sakura. He's just a dude on this roster. Ooh, but the big bad's the guy who brainwashed school children. You know? That's weird. But it's like, what... I don't want to...
He actually has a team that he could be on, though.
Yeah, that's the difference.
I think that's the main difference there. Geese.
I don't. They have like lower power versions of him where he's like not a boss, but they have a boss version. That's another reason why I think Rugal, because like they have regular versions of Rugal and then they have like ridiculous versions.
They have 3 powered up versions of Rugal. The Orochi powered Rugal, the Dark powered Rugal, and just powered up Rugal.
Sure, but like when you do that, there's like only one like iconic one. Like it's Omega Rugal, dude. Like it's the shirt's off, purple with the fishnet. Like I'm telling you, just look that character up.
Yeah,
I
know exactly who you're talking about. But
I guess like I don't want to blow up the spot because this is this guy's dream game.
Yeah,
and like I made a bunch of rosters.
This is opinions.
And, like,
yeah, like I'm making the game. This is opinions, and the whole point I did.
I've made dream rosters for games, and I imagine a lot of people, if other people saw my dream rosters for games, they'd be like, "Man, like, what was this? Oh, you got so many Shotos in this goddamn game. I'm seeing red."
Looking at this roster, I could see a whole lot more worse roster.
Yeah, like it's just. I was gonna say this roster for me personally, and this is just like my opinion. This roster's like in the opposite of a sweet spot. It's like in the sour spot of like inventive team and like who you gotta see, like a structurally sound and like crazy out there. This is like perfectly it's perfectly done in ways I don't want to see. Because like if I like the way they did like these crazy teams, I would rather see crazy teams in that you're trying to make crazier character connections rather than crazier game connection.
Mm.
Like I would like to. I would love to see Terry on team with Rock. Like if we're gonna like Terry Rock Blue Mary, yes, Terry Rock Andy, Terry Rock, like there's a bunch of different stuff. Like I would love that sort of thing more so than I would like just. You know, because they're in the same game. I like that sort of thing more so.
Metal Slug is SNK.
Yeah. They don't got a team of Akari Warriors. That's gonna be.
Oh, Leona isn't in.
That's another like Capcom vs SNK game with no Akari Warriors.
Might be DLC, but again, okay. Speaking of that,
maybe
we do have time. We've been running long. I still want to roll this, but y'all want to see the DLC?
Yeah, Skype, you got to go out
there. Really quick, and then I'll be out.
Alrighty, let's roll the DLC. I'm gonna. He's still talking about bosses here, so I'll skip.
Could include so many great combinations that we could see.
I think Nesquio is more popular, but like.
Yes, this is the 1-year anniversary of Build the Roster, and you want to know something that's changed about me over the last year of doing this? I've come to really appreciate DLC in fighting games. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been putting a roster together and I realize, oh, these characters are mandatory. We can't make a game without them. But now there's no room for all the cool characters that we wanted to use. And boy, I was facing that problem with this game. I know someone is going to say, well, just make the roster bigger, but we can't do that. We have to be at least a bit realistic in here, and 48 regular characters and 6 bosses is as big as we could possibly get this thing. The SNK guys pushing themselves to the breaking points to make games with rosters that big, and let's be real, Capcom probably isn't going to put up too much money to help them with that. And I love this idea of making 3-person teams, but I will admit it does limit the number of characters even further. So yes, today, in order to really explore this big crazy crossover, we're going to cover the DLC. Now, if I had to take a guess, I'd say that we could probably squeeze 3 seasons out of this. That's a pretty standard number of DLC seasons today, and I think this game would be successful enough that getting 3 seasons is a pretty safe bet. And each season would include 6 characters. And I'll give you all a second to work the math on that and see that what I'm really suggesting isn't 6 characters, but 1 Capcom team and 1 SNK team each season. And since we kick things off in the regular roster with Capcom, let's switch things up and begin with SNK this time.
I don't think these have a rhyme or reason.
Bro, what?
New Faces team. One thing you might have noticed from the roster is that we were a little light on new characters, so I figure we should make a team that is essentially Team King of Fighters 14. Then again, King of Fighters 15 is literally being promoted while we're making this video, so I probably should have saved this for our 2-year anniversary to get a more comprehensive list, but too late now. Yes, I wanted to put together a team made up of some of the more popular additions to the King of Fighters franchise in the 14th installment, and I'm using the name New Faces since it was a name used previously on a team of brand new characters. I mean,
yeah, but they were villains.
Sure, it was revealed that that team was actually evil and working for the big villain of the entire game, but still a good name, darn it! Now, as for who to include, I decided to go with Alice, who SNK is trying really hard to push as their next big spokesperson, probably because she's the face of one of their pachinko machines. Next up is Luong, who, according to surveys, was actually the most used of the new characters in King of Fighters 14, so she's got a connection with players. And then there's Banderas, who... Listen, I'll just admit, I'm pulling favorites on this one because I just really love the Brazilian self-taught ninja. Now, as for why these 3 would be on a team together, well, that's kind of a tough one. I mean, none of them have anything at all in common with each other. But the more I thought about, the more I realized there actually is a great explanation for why this team would form. Alice is Terry Bogard's biggest fan and wants to be just like him. And who did I say would be on Terry's team in Capcom Vs SNK 3? Kim and Mai. And Luong is Kim's master's girlfriend, who Kim feels very uncomfortable around. And Banderas wants to be a ninja more than anything in the world, and has even tried in the past to get Mai to be his sensei. So I could totally see Alice wanting to copy Terry so much that she ends up grabbing up characters who are closely connected to his 2 teammates. I will admit I put this team together just based on their popularity, but I ended up creating the Bizarro Team Fatal Fury. What can I say? Sometimes these themes just write themselves.
Go for broke!
We are all one. There is just one Earth, and it is very precious. All citizens of Earth, every one of them must fight.
I shall present the prophecy!
Power to the Earth! Light it up. I have the power of God.
Team Earth Power. Okay, remember how I said SNK's side was a little light on new characters? Well, Capcom's side is practically barren. Which there's a reason for that. As I said, Capcom Vs SNK is specifically meant to be a celebration of fighting games from both companies, and since the last CVS 20 years ago, Capcom has released... yeah, not a whole lot of anything. A couple of crossover games and 2 new Street Fighter installments. Yeah, Capcom has certainly moved away from their fighting game division, and that's resulted in far fewer characters to pull from. However, from the little we have gotten, there have been a handful of standout stars who won people over, and if I'm going to have a team that is essentially Team King of Fighters 14, then I need what would essentially be Team Street Fighter 5. And when I think of the characters who were popular in that game, Rashid instantly stands out. I mean, if there was one new character who Capcom was really pushing to be a big deal in the game and in the story mode, it was him. Plus, he's got a super fun personality that would be great to bounce off of other characters, and his crazy hopping and jumping actions would fit in well with any of the SNK grooves. Then Minot has certainly become a fan favorite, and her crystal ball traps would make her a very unique combatant. But when it came to the third character, it was kind of tough. I mean, the obvious choice would be Laura, or maybe Colleen, but instead, I'm going in the complete opposite direction of them and picking G. First off, I love his big crazy persona, some YouTuber who goes around claiming to be the president of Earth. What's not to love about that? Secondly, he actually draws his power from the Earth itself, and you know who else does that? Some pretty big important SNK characters. So I would love to see the interactions he would have with them. And most importantly, he actually has a reason to pair it with Minot and Rashid. In G's story mode in Street Fighter V, both Rashid and Minot become aware of him when they see his videos online, and they decide to challenge him before he beats them down easily. So I could see G wanting to join this tournament to help spread his message of unity on the biggest stage in the world, but he needs teammates. So he snatches up the two people who helped him rise in popularity to begin with, Rashid and Minot. Plus, imagine how fun it would be if they almost took on a Kim Kapwan, Chang and Choi style relationship, where Minot and Rashid clearly do not want to be there, but G is so powerful and so crazy, they don't want to mess with him. So every single time that he turns his back, Rashid and Minot just look at each other and go, okay, this guy is clearly nuts, right? We have to get out here. Then G turns back around and they flip on a dime. Oh yeah, power to the earth, you said it, big guy. No, seriously, he is insane.
Live and let die.
Mission 1, start! Mission complete!
Team Agents. This team might as well be called Team Fan Favorites, and out of all the DLC teams, this is the one that hurt the most not being able to include them. Which is almost appropriate since Team Agents has kind of become known in the KOF community as Team Why Aren't They Here? Yeah, they've got some of the most popular characters in the game's history, and yet they haven't officially been included since KOF 11. And then Vanessa and Blue Mary were brought back for King of Fighters 14, but only as DLC. And sadly, due to other teams being more important to the history of these companies and this franchise, they'll have to sell for being DLC once again. Now, as for who to include, I'm of course going to bring back Vanessa, stylish boxer badass and pretty much the face of Team Agents. Then there's Blue Mary, sleek and cool detective who has been one of the longest running characters in SNK's history. And for the final slot, well, nothing against Seth or Ramon, the other two members of Team Agents, but I figured this would be another good time to expand and find a series that hasn't yet been represented, especially if it's a series from SNK's history that has continued to hold on to a strong fan base throughout the years. I'm talking about Metal Slug, SNK's side-scrolling shooter series. Now, I know you might think this makes no sense including a character from this game because its cast doesn't quite fit the fighting game format, you know, because of all the guns. And I will admit that means we would have to change up their playstyles and get creative with them to make it work, but it could be done. I mean, it's not like this would be the first time a team from a shooter series joined the KOF circuit. Team Ikari Warriors blasted their way through that barrier decades ago, so there is a precedence for it on the SNK side. And fans have been asking for a Metal Slug character to be in a King of Fighters game for years now.
Yeah, I mean,
at least in an official King of Fighters game, since Fio did appear in the non-canon Maximum Impact series, where she could best be described as ear-shattering. So yeah, we need to do the Metal Slug
Wow.
series right after that. And while I will
you
admit
ever
pretty
heard
much
that?
any of them
I
would fit
forgot
in
about
spot,
that.
I'm going to
Actually
stick with
get here,
Theo
Tom.
because when I look around the web, she seems to be the most popular choice. And as I said,
Jesus, I forgot about
we
that.
cannot let this be her only fighting game appearance.
That's what we like.
All right, since we 2 seasons, what y'all think of those two?
I think the Viper should probably be on the team instead of Minot. I think Minot's like a little random for that team. I think Sea Viper would fit with the other 2 characters a lot better.
Yeah.
Gadgets, U.S. agent, that type of bit. I don't know. It just probably would have worked better if you want to make that team work. I think
put a Metal Slug character in there and Leona's left out of the roster, people are gonna mold their hair off. Like they're gonna be bald.
Yeah, you need Team Ikari Warriors, a Team Hider, and Team something.
If you do that and you just put them all out, maybe it's like okay, they could get put in. But if you put in one and it's not Leona, people are gonna mold themselves entirely.
This guy hates grapplers. If you like grapplers, you can't have a team in this game. You have 2 grapplers. You got 2. You got Tizok and Alex. And Alex doesn't even play like a traditional
Hagar.
grappler.
And Hagar.
Oh, and Hagar. Okay, never mind. You do have a team. All right, but you got that one team. That's it, dog. That's it. You're done.
No. Maxima as well.
Maximum? Yeah.
That is the only grappler that I've ever played.
I guess. I legit. I don't even see Maxima as a grappler, but that's just because
I don't see him as a grappler too, but he is a grappler.
He is.
He does use his command grabs. He do.
Yeah. Basically what I'm saying is
This boy hits me hard.
they
That's what I know.
specifically dodged 2 grapplers to put Fido in. Like the other 2 members.
Ralph isn't a grappler. Clark's a grappler. Ralph is not.
No. You don't miss. I said team agents. Ramon and Seth are both grapplers. That's the team. The team is Vanessa, Ramon, Seth, or Vanessa, Blue Mary, Seth. That's or Blue Mary, Raymond, I think actually. So instead of putting either of those 2 grapplers, we get Theo, who almost definitely will not be a grappler. Will probably be a weird gadget character that plays like shit. Probably. Weirdo character.
Yeah.
It's just funny. It's just like this is an unbalanced roster when it comes to play
this
styles.
is a fan roster. I didn't
Yeah.
expect it.
It's just like play. I've made a bunch of fake rosters, and I always end up thinking like, are play styles represented? And if I made this one, I'm like, oh god, you better not like Charlie.
There's not many zoners.
Well, that too. Like I was like thinking like Duo Lon could have made it into the game. But it's like whatever. It's either way. It's just like I think it's wrong to like. It's almost like objectively like wrong to like pick something and then just like leave out an entire thing when there's like lots of things that you put onto it already to appeal to fans. I feel like dodging Leona, and it almost seems like it's like a straight up dodge to Leona.
Leona's mad popular too.
She's like one of those characters that people want in games but don't play, but like you still put those characters in.
Yeah, she's so popular too, and she's good. She's fun. She's always different. She has a ton of moves
She has
to
evil
drop
form
in.
if you want it.
You can have the Orochi shit, like dude, her fucking Neo Max where she pops into. Ooh, the old games when you do the super and then she would turn into Orochi Leona.
Yeah, and she would fill the charge character quota as well.
Yeah. You lose a lot by not having Team Ikari Warriors. You really lose a lot. There's a lot of utility in that team. Yeah. Rush down, grappler, and charge.
Let's see what the rest of this DLC has.
Yeah, let's hope.
Stop in the middle.
To call big damage.
Dog, is this Red Earth? Dog. Ew. Interesting. Oh, very interesting.
Power Stone?
Very interesting. Very interesting. What is this?
That's a Team Another World. This is literally just Team Another World from SNK, but done with Capcom.
Team Otherworld.
Yep.
As I have said over and over again, this game is meant to be a celebration of these companies' fighting games, and there are so many great Capcom franchises to choose from. No way could I give each of them a team. So, why not just put them all together on one team? If you're an SNK fan, then you might recognize the name of this team. In King of Fighters 14, there was a team made up of characters from other games set outside of the King of Fighters universe, and their leader was Love Heart, a pirate who traveled between worlds. Gee, if only Capcom had their own cross-dimensional pirate. Oh wait, they do. Ruby Heart. Shockingly enough, no relation.
Yeah.
In Marvel vs. Capcom 2, they introduced Ruby Heart, and even though that game wasn't going to be on story, it was implied that her ship was what allowed the heroes of these multiple worlds to come together to stop this big evil enemy. So you know what? For this next team, let's really lean to the crossover element with a Capcom team that is a direct reference to an SNK team. Have Ruby Heart, this dimension-traveling pirate, decide to enter the tournament for her own reasons, and she needs some powerful fighters, so she grabs up Rouge from Power Stone and Tessa from Red Earth. Now, I'm grabbing Tessa because even though Red Earth had a short run in the arcades and never got ported to anything, Tessa herself has been ported to lots of things. She popped up as a playable character in Super Gym Fighters and in SNK's crossover game, SVC Chaos, as well as making small cameo appearances all over the place. She's one of the many Capcom characters doomed to never see her series return, and yet she continues to come back again and again, so let's go ahead and make her come back again and again. And next, I want to give Power Stone some love. I mean, the game was made by Hideaki Itsuno, the same guy who made the previous Capcom vs. SNK games, and you can tell he really, really wanted a Power Stone character in here. He loaded the stages up with cameo appearances from them. So let's make that dream come true and put one of their characters in here. And while I know Falcon might seem like the obvious choice since he was the protagonist of those games, Rouge was certainly one of the more fan-favorite characters, and I think that her more magical presence would fit beside Tessa and Ruby. She feels like a more natural addition to these two than any of the other characters in that game. Now there is something else about these three that makes me really excited for this team, which is I feel this team would show off the groove systems better than any other team I've mentioned so far. For example, let's look at Tessa. Tessa came from Red Earth, a game where as you play through the arcade ladder, you would have an experience bar that would level up, and each time that leveled up, you would have access to higher level abilities and skills. So, maybe some of the grooves that we invent for this game would implement various gauges and modes that you could enter, and each time that you activate the special... Throughout the course of this video, I didn't go into a lot of details about how each character would change up depending on what grooves you pick for them, but I would like to see at least a few characters really spicing things up and seeing their gameplay change fairly dramatically based on which group you pick, and I think this team is great for showing that off.
So many times. This game's just really
You can
fun.
feel the calm before the storm as the round
Red Earth
begins.
is a fun-ass game.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome game. If you've never played Red Earth, it is a very unique game.
Oh,
Yeah.
You don't get that.
Team Orochi. And for the final SNK team, I'm looking at what we currently have, and if there's one thing from the SNK side that we're lacking, it's villains. Sure, we have team rivals, but even then we need something a bit darker. Characters that aren't rivals or anti-heroes or morally gray, no, they're just bad guys. And when it comes to SNK, when I think of villains, I think of Orochi. So I'm collecting together 3 characters who have at some point in their history worked for or possessed the power of Orochi. And I know some of the deep SNK lore fans are looking at this team right now and they're saying to themselves, those 3 characters wouldn't work together. And you're right, they probably wouldn't, but we're on the final season of DLC. At this point, we're just looking for an excuse to include whatever fan favorite characters we can. And fan favorite is right, these are 3 big name characters in the KOF scene. You got Yamazaki, a mob enforcer who has an arm that possesses the power of Orochi, and the only reason that power doesn't overwhelm him is because he's too crazy for it. Then there's Shermie, a fun-loving rock star who might not seem like a villain at first, but because she's of the Orochi bloodline, she did try to destroy the entire world in order to make way for her dark god. I know some people will argue that she's given up her dark ways, but she can still be pretty malicious and deadly when she's provoked. Plus, we could have her transform into her Orochi form as a super move or as a groove ability. And lastly, we had to fit Rugal in here somewhere. He does have a tie to Orochi since he's got some of Orochi's power inside of him and even used that power to come back as Omega Rugal. But real talk, the reason for putting him on this team isn't what matters. Hell, we could just as easily have called this Team Outlaws or Team Villains because the important thing is we got Rugal in here. He and Akuma were the two massive big bad guys of the last game. So if we're putting Akuma in here,
you could have put Leona here, man.
Eventually, and as the final SNK character to be revealed would be the ultimate way to send this game off. It would be that perfect final cherry to put on top of this Sunday. That final thing to get people talking.
As the cherry on this?
That's kind of the point of the final DLC character.
It'd be over.
You kind of want to save your big gun for the end to make even the people who swore off this game perk their heads up. This is your last chance to get people interested. And speaking of that, I can tell there's still a lot of people out there listening to this video who aren't on board. They're still not buying what I'm selling. They don't like our focus on fighting and arcade games. They don't like the 3-person structure and all the other crazy limitations I put in place. So...
yeah. So, you got Rugal.
Yeah. It's a weird team. I like Shermie a lot. I like Yamazaki a lot. To call them Team Orochi is like, that's a hard stretch.
Yeah, it's probably,
Rugal's a stretch.
You probably just put Team Villains, Team
it's a.
I've seen this last team he's about to say, and it's a doozy. I'm wondering if you guys. This is not gonna fly.
Just go.
All right.
Let's see if our final Capcom team can win you over.
Oh man, are you ready for this?
This is what made me watch the video. I saw this. This doesn't fly.
Devil May Cry.
What?
Team Devil May Cry. Yes, I know people wanted Dante and his whole crew in this game. I know they did because I kept hearing about it anytime I brought up the idea of a CVS 3. And I understand why. The Devil May Cry characters are cool. They're great spokespeople for Capcom. And Dante has been overwhelmingly dominant in the last 2 Marvel games. But that's also why I didn't think I could include them. As I said, this is not a game with triple-digit combos and high-flying extreme supers, and that's kind of what Dante is built for. I mean, compare some high-level Marvel gameplay to some high-level CVS gameplay. Yeah, these are very different beasts, and I don't know if the Devil May Cry crew would fit in here. But this is our final DLC pack, and generally as a rule, if there is any time to go all out and over the top, it's in the final DLC pack. Hell, Dragon Ball FighterZ introduced a character with an insta-kill as their final DLC character. I'm pretty sure that wasn't in their initial pitch meeting for the game. But screw it, it's the final character, so let's go nuts. So, for the final DLC pack in Capcom Vs SNK 3...
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
Now, don't get me wrong, we would have to nerf Dante significantly from how he played in Marvel in order to fit into this game, but you could still make that work. And as for who to choose as his teammates, listen, there's a lot of great DMC characters I could throw in here, but did you play Devil May Cry 5? That game literally gave us a built-in 3-person team in Dante, Nero, and V. Now, I know that some people might be wondering how V could be in here since he, well, let's just say he probably isn't going to be sticking around for Devil May Cry 6.
Anyway,
But hey, this
They
is a
actually showed
crossover
a
fighting
character,
game. No,
like,
this is canon
while
to
they were
begin
doing
with.
that. They messed
Besides,
around
we
that
already said that
probably
we're including
make more
Neo Dio as a secret
work
boss,
more,
a character
even
who
though
was
it's, like,
tied to
kinda
time
still closer to
travel.
Marvel.
Just say that his presence brought
What
back
if they
characters who
found
had
an
already
evil
been
team to,
erased,
like,
and now
you
V
know,
knows that he must assemble a team to face this
work
monster
with that,
in the
like,
tournament.
a
And before
team that
anyone
could
points out in
maybe
the
go with
comments,
Wesley,
yes,
though.
I know that Dante has another three-person team in Trish and Lady, but Nero is the current new hotness. We kind of have to include him,
And Wesley
so he
could
just makes
definitely,
sense since they
play
already
slower
were a
than,
three-person
Devil May
team.
Cry character.
Plus, as I said, we would have to nerf these characters to make them fit into the format of a fighting tournament, and Lady's entire moveset is just guns. Yeah, fighting tournaments like the King of Fighters and Street Fighters, they tend to be pretty fast and loose on things like swords or fireballs, but it would just feel too weird for a character to just pull out bazookas and machine guns in the ring.
Yeah,
Plus,
like,
again,
you're gonna have the
V is
DLC
another
to fight
character who would work
Leona or
great with
something
different
like that.
groove systems.
Wesley
His
could
entire
probably handle
moveset
that.
is that he summons
Pretty
out
readily.
familiars to fight for him, so you could have those familiars be affected by whatever groove that you're in. So yeah, this kind of has to be our Team Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
And
I just-
there you finally have it. You're...
There we go.
Yeah, these weren't the deep cuts I was looking for.
Nope.
You want to go deep on me, Doug? You want to go deep cut, Doug?
I like that they're using the King of Fighters mobile game.
Yeah, it's clean art. It's clean art.
Yeah.
Like, you know what would have been a deep cut? Now y'all might not be ready for this one, but like, if they made a team with Ingrid, DD, and Rook, Team All Stars, because like Capcom Fighting All Stars code holder, that would have been clean as fuck. That's a canceled video game. They didn't even release that game.
Yeah.
That would have been sick as fuck. That's a deep cut. You know what's like a lot easier of a deep cut? Any Slam Master character. Like, I don't know, man. I was like, you gonna do something crazy? It's like, no, we're just gonna do something crazy, but you already expect it. I'm like, all right, fine. You know? It's like weird. I feel like, honestly, with the DLC, they should have did what King of Fighters did with the DLC. And just gave me scraps. I actually like King of Fighters DLC where they just put out random characters that people wanted to see. I mean, that's basically what he did because these teams are weird. But like the fact that you put the onus of the concept of teams is like kind of weird.
Yeah.
I would have recommended just putting in like you want to have this guy, put him in, or do like teams that people want to see rather than like the middle ground. Like instead of the weird middle ground.
I don't mind like returning characters. I don't feel like returning weird old characters that people were introduced to. Like I like those, like even though like they're not new, but like every time they come back, they're basically new because people have never heard of them. And then you could go back and say like, yo, this guy was in the last crossover. Like, what if they brought in Jen Saotome from Cyberbots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like,
nobody knows who that is. Like nobody knows who that is. They only know this guy. This guy does the punch that brings in the giant fist from off screen.
Yeah.
Like I get like I feel like there's like you could go like this is I feel like this is like the weak this is like the sour spot. Like they didn't go very weird, nor did they stick to the classics. It's like weird. It's like it didn't actually stick that hard, but like it definitely did. Like, but also went weird, but it didn't go weird the way I would want it to go normally, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, if you want off the walls, we're just shitting around. Capcom Fighting All-Star or Capcom Fighting Jam, and like, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. That's just random weirdness. That's just crazy. That seems like what he was looking at, but also you got like Team World Warrior, and like just Team Psycho, and like we're by the books today. But then you look at this SNK style, and it's like random. But then Team K-Dash, and I'm like, oh well, that's like I'm like, well, yeah, okay. But like everyone else is kind of weird and random and disjointed, and I don't know what's going on. It's so weird. It's I would have preferred it to go in either other direction. I would prefer it to just F it, let's go crazy. Let's add in playable God Hand like Gene and Frank West. Let's just honestly go crazy, start snorting. Or just go way more traditional. Just give me the actual teams.
Go Ashura?
Like, I literally either go crazy, go stupid, or, go by the books. Or, do what they actually did and don't actually make teams and just let you have fun. Because there's a reason why they didn't actually make set 3 teams for Capcom vs SNK 2. Yeah. Or SVC Chaos, or any of the other crossovers.
Because not everybody had sprites that they could...
Well, no, because this argument happens. This mess. Yeah. Where they're like, well, we gotta have this guy. Oh, but I mean, that's way too many characters on this side. Like, we have... Because SNK obviously has more set teams than Capcom does. Like, and Capcom misses out on, Guile.
Yeah, we don't have Guile.
Yeah, we don't have Cammy. We don't have Guile. You know what easy of a team like Guile, Cammy, Charlie, and Ash is? That's the easiest team I've ever heard in my life. It's the easiest team ever made. They're all blonde. It's not even hard. I don't know. It's like one of those things where like everyone has different opinions on this sort of thing, and this is definitely their taste. That's why I brought this together
and thought this would be a talking point, because this is
definitely their taste, and it's like totally down. Again, I could probably DM this guy and show him my made up roster, and he'd be like, "You got too many Shotos in this game. Like, like what's with all these grapplers and Shotos? What do you want, a like crazy game where everyone can do a fireball, but also
and hands? That's my
the fireball and SPDs. Like, what's happening?"
Well,
because like God knows, if I was making if you made me do this roster, I would put like a Slam Master character in there. You'd have Black Widow in this game, 100. Like,
well, since we've been running through this run, I want to thank you guys here. Go to guy. Do you got anything you want to say before I let you go?
No, I pretty much said everything. I do not think a Devil May Cry team could work here. Like, no matter what you do, it's like either they work here and they're not Devil May Cry characters, or they work here and this game isn't what you thought it was. Like, it just cannot possibly work. Like, I don't know. You could maybe find like
Hagar work perfectly fine, and
you could do like you could like scavenge like Capcom games for iconic villains, and just put like Wesker as the team leader for it, and like it could be like those people trying to muscle their way through this tournament, and like them taking advantage of each other's power.
Legitimately, like Team Hydern versus like Team Stars with Wesker. That is one heck of a clash. That's a really cool idea. If you want to talk about like character moments, Team Hydern, you can have full Akari warriors, or you can have Clark or Ralph play like each other, and then have Hydern in the back to clash with Wesker. You can do a bunch of different
things. Well, like Wesker would actually be so cool to fight like a lot of people. Like, imagine Wesker's intro versus G.
Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of fun.
Any sort of leader at all versus Wesker, or like Mike Hagar versus Wesker, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a good way to put it. But I want to thank you both for taking your time to be here. This is about 3 hours, and this was a great test for my GPU, mainly because I'm streaming on both services, and my CPU has not gotten over set 10% usage this whole time. So this is beautiful, and it stayed at a crisp, 60 frames per second through the whole thing. Not much going on, but that's not a big thing with games. But there's been no change and no heat, and so this was a phenomenal test. Having a 3-hour test of this to see the long haul, it helped out immensely, and I want to thank you guys very much for sticking it out.
Dude, what is your computer, man? I cut on tension and my computer goes to 60 to 70.
Yeah,
either that game's trash or my computer's trash. Something's trash in that equipment.
I mean, I'd be like drawing on like a huge canvas, and my computer's like, all right, maybe you don't need to draw.
Genshin's almost a hot 50% of my computer, minimum.
My CPU is only got to the highest through this whole. I'm looking back at it now through this whole space with me stopping, moving, and I'm doing little things in the background you can't see. It is only got up to 10% usage, like over to usage. So with
Do
all
the
this
ultimate
going
test.
on.
Do the ultimate test. Open 20 tabs. Open 20 tabs.
Unfortunately, I didn't open up most Google tabs. Actually, look at this. I'm messing with the Google thing, and it went up to past 10. It went up to 18.
Yeah, Google Chrome's actually the beastliest thing on everyone's computer.
20 tabs, and then try and play a game, and then while you have that game running, press Control Shift Escape, and then look at the numbers. 20 tabs brings me to a hot 70%, though.
I would love to have you guys on again to do another video. Probably not from this guy, unless you want to. He has another thing for Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Is 3 thing for Marvel vs. Capcom 4.
I mean, like, remind me sometime. I mean, I might just do it tonight before I ever forget. But like, I made a Street Fighter. It was a thing I talked about with a friend. Like, I made a Street Fighter 6 roster. I made it out.
This on the thing. I could have put it up here, but that'll be probably another time. I'll probably pull y'all again, and we'll probably watch another video like this or do something like this. This was fun. I enjoyed talking, doing this stuff, and we didn't have the people that dropped in here and watched. You know, Charles dropped in here for a minute. Mike dropped in here for a minute, and Ian dropped in. And all of them said hi and miss you guys. And enjoyed the talk, but you know it's late night for them, so they went to bed. So
yeah,
but they enjoyed it. You know, Zachary came by too. Look at that, I missed him. But yeah, they all missed you and enjoyed it. So I wouldn't mind doing this again some other time. But again, thank you again for coming and you know taking the time to go with me. And I will see everybody else later. See you later, guys.